Hello, and welcome back to part two of our Four of Wands analysis stream. I'm Poetic Heretic, and in this portion of our look at the Four of Wands, we will be, as usual, diving much deeper into it. Also, I'm aware that the lighting is a little bit questionable right now, but now that it is daytime, I'm not sure if there's really much I can do about it. We shall see. Okay, so everything's sounding good then. All right. So remember, as always, that I'm not trying to tell anyone what to believe about these cards. Ultimately, I want people to make up their own minds. And I'm Poetic Heretic first, student of Tarot second. Someone unsubscribed. Good. Out with the old and in with the new. I'm going to have to turn this down a bit. And just finish setting this up here. Yeah, part one of our analysis of the Four of Wands was quite interesting, so be sure to check that out if you haven't watched it already, like if you're watching when this is not live in particular. And that is where you will find my summary of it, and then we got into quite a few differences in that hour and a half. Part two of my Four of Wands analysis. And interestingly enough, towards the end of that in particular, a number of sources came up that I was kind of actively disagreeing with a lot of the stuff that they had to say, or I was at the very least having to tweak it in a lot of ways to have it agree with my philosophy. So that was, fascinating. And I pointed out, of course, and I'll point it out again, it's like, yeah, I recognize these other viewpoints as valid, but that doesn't mean that I agree with them. Some of them I'm almost diametrically opposed to. But anyway, okay, before we resume, I'm going to see if I can fix this lighting at all, perhaps. Actually, hang on. See what that does. It's probably not quite what we want. Let's just see. One moment. Maybe this will work. I have no idea. Hang on one moment. Let's see. I didn't think the lighting would be a problem. Otherwise, I would have figured this out before I went live. But this is probably too dark. Okay, let's see here. I think this might be a good compromise. We'll just leave it like this for now and can always change it later if necessary. Because if there's too much lighting on me, then, I don't know, the camera gets all weird, at least under these conditions. I don't have professional lighting yet. But anyway, so as I said before, resuming this, we're going to look now at the Thoth version specifically of the Four of Wands and get much deeper into it, therefore. In part one, we looked almost entirely at the Rider-Waite version. So now it's time for the Thoth version. And as usual, we will be going to esotericmeanings.com first in order to do that. One thing I will say beforehand, though, about the Thoth version that I find interesting is that I noticed this just recently, in fact. So indeed, it is the Four of Wands. This is what it looks like. It has this green background. Now, green is the color of the heart chakra. And the heart chakra also just so happens to be the fourth chakra. And this is the Four of Wands. So I wonder if that's intentional, and this card being all about like happiness and joy and family and connection sounds like heart chakra stuff to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's intentional. Here, let me put just a little bit more lighting on me, perhaps. Let's see how that, we'll try like that for a bit. Okay, so anyway, again, this is esotericmeanings.com. Their YouTube channel is Thoth Tarot Videos, so check them out if you want to. And here we go. Thoth Tarot Four of Wands. Four wands can be seen in a circle, rather like a mandala. The wands form an 8-spoked red wheel on a green background, and 8 flames can be seen issuing between the spokes, although they are not as strong as in the 3 of the suit. Crowley states that the initial will from the Two of Wands is complete. In other words, we have finished a project, succeeded in a goal, but that, quote, this limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder, end quote. Book of Thoth, page 191. Isn't that fascinating? So, to give you a closer look at what they were saying there, here's like a sort of up close look at the Four of Wands card. Hopefully it'll focus for us. There we go. As you can see, it is pointed out quite clearly that this is astrologically correspondent to Venus and Aries. And the word we get for this one is completion. Okay. So again, it says, Crowley states that the initial will from the Two of Wands is complete. In other words, we have finished a project. So remember, little recap here. Ace of Wands, we had the initial inspiration. Two of Wands, we had that inspiration being taken into a plan or will, perhaps. In the Three of Wands, we had the expansion of that, the entrepreneurial spirit, the movement of all of that, the going far. Talked a lot about like overseas things, which was weird because it reminded me of ninth house things, but it's a 3, so it should be third house things, but whatever. And now in the Four of Wands, it says, this limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder. Isn't that interesting? And good morning, Lumen. It's good to see you here. So let's see. So in other words, we have finished a project, succeeded in a goal, but that, quote, this limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder. Book of Thoth, page 191. I feel like the lighting is still slightly off. I don't know what to do about it. Try that. It's a little better. All right, and it gives just a brief thing on the Rider-Waite Four of Wands. It says a celebration is taking place outside a castle, stability, a joyous card indicating harmony, fulfillment, success, and possibly a good time to get together with friends and family. Of course, we went all over that in part 1. Numerology in the Four of Wands. Ace refers to the monad, 2, the dyad, 3, the triad, and 4, the tetrad, from which we get the tetrahedron. And it shows that right there. Getting geometrical. That sounds like a dream. Wait, what sounds like a dream? So monad, dyad, triad, tetrad, in that order. Philosophers of Greece stated that reality was comprised of 4 elements: fire, water, air, earth, and so it was a number of the manifestation of our world. We have a sense of completion from the combination of the 4 elements. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. Pythagoreans believe the number 10 to be the quote-unquote perfect number and forms the tetractys as shown below. Let's show that right here. So before we go further, though, isn't that interesting then? This card is called Completion, card 4, and yet you take 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. As I mentioned in part 1, 10s, of course, are all about completion. Well, both 10s and 4s, but especially 10s. But you can take 4, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10, and get completion. So interesting. Saw my pendant crossed with the dodecahedron. Oh, that's cool. Huh. That sounds like a really cool pendant to have. So I wonder, like, would that be a reference to, like, the 4 elements? But regardless, that's another interesting thing just to consider about this card overall, with it being the 4 of Wands is indeed 4. Well, there's 4 elements, so that's quite significant, isn't it? Four elements being referenced. 4 of Wands, the Tree of Life, and 4 worlds. A, the Tree of Life. The 4 of Wands is associated with the 4th Sephirah, Chesed, ruled by Jupiter. And let's see, you can see that right here. Akashic record. Huh. I was looking into some stuff from or about Edgar Casey recently, and came across Akashic record. But of course, I mean, I've come across it before. But interesting. I think he might have been the one to first use that term or something, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Chesed is the first Sephiroth of the ethical triangle on the Tree of Life, and also the first Sephiroth below the abyss, in a simplified sense, separating the spiritual and material worlds, and is the sphere where manifestation of form first appears. Hang on. This lighting is just driving me insane. Let's see. He's from Kentucky, so am I. He made the map of the new world, just saying. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I thought he was like from like that general region. I didn't know Kentucky specifically. Yeah, I don't know. You know me, Capricorn, endless thirst for knowledge. I just want to know like everything. I want to know about Edgar Casey and all these people and all the great spiritual and metaphysical and whatever kind of teachers out there. So let's go back over this because, as usual, stuff on here is rather complex. So again, it says Chesed is the first Sephiroth of the ethical triangle on the Tree of Life, and also the first Sephiroth below the abyss. In a simplified sense, separating the spiritual and material worlds, and is the sphere where manifestation of form first appears. I don't know about those watching, but that to me sounds very significant. It is the sphere where manifestation of form first appears. So think about this. The Sephiroth that the Four of Wands corresponds to, or is ruled by, or whatever, Chesed, it is the first one where manifestation of form first appears. So it's almost like, again, this would be kind of my theorizing, but it's almost like once we get to the Four of Wands stage of things, we have gotten to a certain like point of density, or like a threshold of sudden density that we did not see going from the Ace to the Two of Wands, or from the Two of Wands to the Three of Wands. At least that would be my theory anyway. Let's see. Connecting the dots all the time. No, that's a Navy map. Here's your hill. Connecting dots could be fun though. Can be fun. But not all dots connect. Or do they? I don't know, but let me sip some tea here. So, hang on. Yeah, the way this website puts it is that the Four of Wands is associated with the fourth Sephiroth. Just said, ruled by Jupiter. So now we have yet another planetary connection with this card. First, we had the moon via fourth house, correspondent to Cancer, ruled by the moon. Then we had Venus with its astrological correspondence being Venus and Aries. Now we have Jupiter via its association with the fourth Sephiroth Chesed on the Tree of Life, Chesed being ruled by Jupiter. And it's interesting because in like classical astrology or whatever, both Venus and Jupiter were known as the two benefics, the two quote unquote good planets. Of course, in modern times, we don't really look at it that way, and probably rightfully so. But yeah, so, this card being all about harmony and all that stuff. And it's so intensely tied with Venus and Jupiter, the two quote unquote good planets. Venus being all about sweetness, love, harmony, beauty, deliciousness, also money and love and relationships. And then Jupiter being about expansion, optimism, knowledge, positive thinking, ideals and idealism, beliefs, theology, metaphysics, philosophy. It makes sense. Or do they? Future city, good, not gods. Huh. I don't think I've heard of that before. Kokomo? Is that like a city existing now, or like you say a future city? What does that mean? All right, let's see here. So it goes on to say the Four of Wands is in the center of the right-hand pillar of mercy, and is the first Sephiroth to receive energy from the supernal triangle above. So see, the Four of Wands is in the center of the right-hand pillar of mercy, right? That right-hand pillar on the Tree of Life, and is the first Sephiroth to receive energy from the supernal triangle above. Okay, and you can see their little diagram of that right here. A city in Indiana, just good planning. Oh, like a modern type city. Huh. Interesting. I think we need more of those. All right, so let's see here. It is the channel for energy coming through from the supernal triangle to flow through the remaining Sephirah, and it gives structure and a sense of completion. Images associated with Chesed include the enthroned king, the square, and the pyramid, all suggestion of stability. So let's see. It is the channel for energy coming through from the supernal triangle to flow through the remaining Sephirah, and it gives structure and a sense of completion. Images associated with Chesed include the enthroned king, the square, and the pyramid, all suggesting a stability. So yeah, what it's basically saying is that this Chesed, this Sephiroth of Chesed, which is associated with the Four of Wands, that it is the channel that has, how do I say this? I'm trying to simplify it. It is the channel through which the energy of the first three Sephiroth flow. It is the channel through which the first three Sephiroth of the supernal triangle flows. So, and then that goes to the rest of the tree of life, and that gives it a sort of special significance, you know. And again, it's associated with form, or it's where we first find form, according to what we're reading here. And Four of Wands, you know, that's what we have. So this is a point in life where things take form. Might be one way of interpreting that. But that might be an oversimplification also. Let's see. Right. Location. It's high enough up. Brown waters to take over little creeks and stuff like that. High enough up. Basements let around here. Well, that's a big problem, especially if you have homeowners insurance. Oh, flood a lot. I see. 100 years out, good to be slowly aware. Yeah, I live right by a river, but fortunately, flooding has never been an issue. I don't think that, I don't know, I guess it doesn't really happen in this area very much, or if it does, not significantly enough to ever threaten me. But I've heard if you live in a place like LA, like, because they hardly ever get rain, their houses are literally not even built for even the tiniest bit of flooding or like water or whatever, and that can actually cause a lot of problems. So that would suck. Although with the amount of rain that is currently happening here, I kind of almost wouldn't mind trading places with such individuals, because I'm really sick of all this rain. Especially when yesterday morning it was nice and sunny, and that would have been perfect weather for the Four of Wands. But nope, it's got to rain instead. Oh well. The Four Worlds. The Four of Wands resides in Chesed in Atziluth. And they show this extremely complicated looking chart. And I can't even pretend to know what it means. You know, this is beyond my knowledge, but I'll still show it anyway. This is beyond my abilities. All right. Astrology of the Four of Wands. Decan. Third decan of Aries, ruled by Venus, 21 to 30 degrees. In other words, the Four of Wands corresponds to 21 degrees of Aries to 30 degrees of Aries and is ruled by Venus. Venus in Aries. Venus travels 180 degrees from its natural rulership in Libra to get to Aries, so it should be in detriment here. However, it is not. It gives some harmony and peace to the aggressiveness of Mars, so there are some harmony and opposites here in the 4. Put together, we have the emotional desire, Venus, to move in new directions, Aries, but the card reminds us we have to work to complete first. So isn't this kind of funny, though, to consider again as well? It's like, if you really want to be technical about it, then this would be yet another planet associated with the 4 of Wands, then, of course, being Mars through Aries. But, of course, we had, I know the 2 of Wands and 3 of Wands corresponding to Aries. I actually can't quite recall. Was the Ace of Wands? I think the Ace of Wands would have to correspond to Aries somehow, and thus, therefore, Mars. But, regardless, well, actually, this chart might even say. No, I don't think it does. Or if it does, I can't tell. But regardless, if you want to look at it that way, yes, Mars with this card, Venus with this card, the moon with this card, and Jupiter. Mars, Venus, the moon, and Jupiter, all with the 4 of Wands. So hang on. So yeah, put together, we have the emotional desire, Venus, to move in new directions, Aries, but the card reminds us we have to work to complete first. Then Crowley states in the Book of Thoth, page 190, Venus in Aries implies that, quote, one cannot establish one's work without tact and gentleness, end quote. All right, so I'm going to show this chart and then the zoomed in portion of this chart. There's that. And now you can see the pattern of the correspondence. The future map shows a huge waterway east of St. Louis. Okay, I will check it out. We get to the next section, symbolism of the 4 of Wands. Like this was like from Edgar Casey. U.S. Navy map, blue equals submerged. Oh, that's interesting. I love how so much of California is underwater, according to this map. Well, I'm safe in my area of PA. I'm in a safe zone. Geez, much of Florida submerged. Like portion, like a part of the entire East Coast is submerged. Parts of Texas and Arizona, New Orleans, Georgia. I think Alabama. Maybe I need to brush up on my states, my geographical knowledge a little bit. But yeah, then there's like this huge chunk. Like, I wish I could show my screen, but I'm dealing with fucking ancient technology here. But there's like, well, I guess people watching can just click on the link in the chat. But yeah, there's also like this huge part of the country, like sort of um, between the eastern and central parts, and then there's also this big chunk of like the west coast that is supposed to be submerged, at some point, if this comes true. Wow, that's interesting. Well, I mean, who knows? I'm predisposed to I don't know, tend to err on the side of believing stuff that like Edgar Casey would have to say, and maybe other people as well. But I don't know enough about it at this time. So, but when I find out more, that'll be interesting. Amazing how there's just no end to the amount of knowledge that we can gain here in a human lifetime. There's just no end to it. Our minds can just keep expanding and expanding and expanding to infinity. Symbolism of the Four of Wands. Circle with 8 spokes symbolizes completion/harmony, similar to a mandala. So you can see that right here, obviously. Quite clear. And you can see the image that they show right here. It's a slow kind of thing. That's good to know. Reminds me of Forsaken by Within Temptation. As our seas started rising, the land that we conquered just washed away. Although we all have tried to turn back the tide, it was all in vain. 8 spokes symbolize the number 8 has Hebrew letters which mean to will, to love, to bind. Interesting. The number 8 has Hebrew letters which mean to will, to love, to bind. I don't actually understand that though. What do I mean the number 8 has Hebrew letters? Like what? The number, like the actual number 8. Or maybe like 8 in Hebrew has letters which mean in Hebrew to will, to love, to bind. Huh. I don't know. Anyway, wands with ram's heads, quote unquote, will of Aries. So those, and then wands with doves, harmony and peace of Venus. So you can see those quite clearly here. So I wish it would focus for us, but there we go. So yeah, the wands with the ram's heads symbolize the will of Aries. The wands with doves symbolize harmony and peace of Venus. It's interesting that they do not alternate. Rather than alternating, they're sort of in a different kind of order. Let's see. A circle symbolizes the work has been completed. Green background, Venus. The yellow circle, creative sun energy or our energy used up in this task. So the green background, I was talking earlier about the the heart chakra and it being the fourth chakra. And this is saying that symbolizes Venus, which, well, Venus is the planet of love, and the heart is all about love. That's the part of us that really feels and resonates with love. That's where love is, I guess, sort of focused within us. Let's see. I love how we're both in really cool locations. You mean like safe from the waters, or cool weather-wise? Because it is, it's almost freezing here today, sadly. Let's see. And then yellow circle, creative sun energy or our energy used up in this task. And right, yellow circle, pretty obvious. Well, it doesn't need to focus for that. 8 is about strength. There's safety in numbers, my dear. I suppose that's true. Yes, indeed. All right. 3 of Wands to 4 of Wands transition. It says, completion of the work carried out in the 3 of Wands to one's satisfaction. This might relate to the finishing of a work or other project started some time ago. And you can see the transition right there. So yeah, completion of the work carried out in the 3 of Wands to one's satisfaction. This might relate to the finishing of a work or other project started some time ago. Yeah, I feel like at this point we're really starting to, well, at least I am, I'm starting to wrap my mind around the actual essence of the 4 of Wands, like why it is what it is, you know, which has been the goal of these kinds of streams from the start. It's like, we don't just want to know what it is and what these cards are. We want to know why it is and why these cards are what they are. We don't really want the what, or we don't want just the what, we want the why as well as the what. Edgar Casey's school is in Virginia Beach. Seems like a weird location based on the map. But okay, I think it's just we have plenty of time. Huh, yeah, isn't that like literally one of the places that was underwater or is supposed to be underwater according to his prediction? But yeah, I think we do have plenty of time. Let's see, was I going to say something else about the 4 of Wands? I have no idea. All right, anyway. Shemham Farash, Angels of the 4 of Wands. Nanael. Facilitates communication with the divine. Inspires meditation and divine communication. Mysticism. Nithael. Hospitality. Eternal youth. Celebrity and prestige. Stability, legitimate successor, artistic and aesthetic talents. All right. So these 2 angels, these Shemham Farash angels associated with the 4 of Wands. Divinatory meanings of the 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands upright. You have completed a significant phase of a project and can feel very pleased of what you have accomplished so far. A time of joy and satisfaction in life, and represents the personal gratification of a job well done or a goal attained. Try to be flexible for the future, as we always outgrow structures as they are by definition limited. The completion of a property deal, business, marriage or family, or patterns of your daily life. These have all been built on solid foundations. Rest is needed after a period of hard work has come to a successful conclusion, indicating a need for security, stability of the number 4, and wholeness, the circle. Completion of a phase in one's life, perhaps academically, spiritually, or in one's career. We accomplish things more easily when there is a stability and harmony in our lives. Crowley states tact, sensitivity in dealing with others, and gentleness are necessary in this process. All right, 4 of Wands reversed. The expansiveness of Jupiter in Chesed takes over, and perhaps we have taken on more than we can handle in a project, and we are beginning to feel stressed about its completion. See, already I'm enjoying this so much more. I'm loving this so much more than that. It basically means the same thing as the 4 of Wands upright, just lessened to some effect of BS that we came across in the previous articles in part 1 of this stream analysis. And again, I'm not saying that's wrong. Like I said before, I'm not saying that's wrong. Just that, first of all, it's not going to be like that all the time. Second of all, that's like one hell of an oversimplification. I mean, 4 of Wands reverse has got to have more nuance, more specificity than that in its reverse position, or 4 of Wands in its reverse position. A tendency to start new things without completing others. Too comfortable in the structures of life that we have built, we become complacent. Desires can also change, and therefore we may need to come out of our comfort zone to explore new horizons. Not feeling whole and balanced within ourselves. A lack of tact and too much harshness by ourselves or another causing delays in finishing a project or not getting the best out of people. A situation lacking in harmony. Four of Wands and the Celtic cross spread. Let's call it a 7 of Pentacles. Are you referring to like how the 7 of Pentacles can just seem to mean like so many different things that it's like it's almost hard to even know what the hell it even does mean? I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it is. It'll be interesting when we get to that stream, in like, I don't know, 3 months or whatever the hell it will be. 4 of Wands and the Celtic cross spread. So, as usual, at this point, this site is giving what this card, the 4 of Wands, may mean when it appears in the various positions of the Celtic cross spread. And you can see the particular version of that they're using right here. Okay. So if the 4 of Wands appears as card 1, the heart of your situation, it may mean the desire to complete something which you have started, to have fun and harmony in your life. If it appears as card 2, obstacles/challenges, it may mean we have taken on more than can now handle. Feeling overwhelmed. For example, a job is proving too time-consuming to complete what has been asked of us to the detriment of our health. If it appears as card 3, subconscious influences, it may mean feeling insecure and incomplete in your life, career, personal. If it appears as card 4, your recent past, it may mean successful completion of a phase in your life. You can always draw on this strength if times are now challenging. If it appears as card 5, your hopes and goals, you have something close to your heart that you would like to finish. It may be career, relationship, feeling secure, stable, or spiritually oriented. If it appears as card 6, your immediate future, finish current projects before setting new ones for yourself. If it appears as card 7, your internal self at this time, stable, harmonious, joy, For example, someone completes their A levels and is going on to university. If it appears as card 8, your external environment. A tactless work colleague or boss is providing a difficult environment for you to get on and complete your work. Huh. That's kind of weird that it would mean that if it appears as card 8. That would almost sound like the Four of Wands reversed, you know? But I don't know. Let's see. Card 9, guidance and warning. Once you finish your goals, don't get lazy and rest in your newfound security for too long, otherwise complacency will creep in. Crowley states that the initial will from the Two of Wands is complete. In other words, we have finished a project, succeeded in a goal, but that, quote, this limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder, end quote. Book of Thoth, page 191. Otherwise, complacency will creep in. Yeah, that's interesting. This limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder. So we have to continue expanding. We have to continue evolving. We have to continue going with a new desire, going where our heart, our joy takes us. We have to continue to follow our bliss to ever new heights, or we become complacent and stagnant and stuck forevermore. Planting seeds. Oh, as in like planting seeds. Like the Four of Wands reversed. That would make sense, actually. Yeah, that would make sense. Since the Four of Wands is about stability and like the home and family and all that, this reversal could indicate like the initial action, like the planting of a seed that then leads to that. Interesting. Card 10, your overall outcome. If the Four of Wands appears there, it may mean great times ahead, indicating the successful completion of your goals, providing you with much joy and stability. For example, getting your ideal job, house move, relationship. Ooh, this is interesting. This is a whole new section in this site that's popping up here. Oh my god, I love this so much. Wait till I tell you guys what I just came across. Now, it's not very long, but this is a short little section on useful crystals associated with the Four of Wands. I love crystals. I'm not like huge into them or anything, but and I'm not even sure what their true level of effectiveness is, but regardless, they're beautiful and they feel good. And even if you don't want to believe that they actually do anything vibrationally or whatever, they're still just so beautiful and nice to have around and stuff. So let's see. 1, tiger's eye. Tiger's eye stone is a crystal with lovely bands of yellow golden color through it. This is a powerful stone that aids harmony and balance and helps you to release fear and anxiety. Sounds like a stone that I need. It stimulates taking action and helps you to make decisions with discernment and understanding and unclouded by your emotions. This is a stone that helps us to be more active mentally as well as physically, and its major work is within the lower chakras and so has a grounding effect. It'd be perfect for me as a Capricorn. Well, I plan on getting some black onyx sometime soon, which apparently is not always the best for some people. It can cause, well, I've read anyway, that it can cause depression in some, but for those with a lot of Capricorn in their chart, like me, those that are attuned to its energy, it can be very powerful indeed. So I plan on getting some of that in the near future. I might even get a necklace with it. Like, oh, I can't fucking wait. I get so excited over this stuff. So, hang on, let me show the little image there. This is what the tiger's eye looks like. And again, we're looking at this because it goes well with the Four of Wands. All right, let me I'm sorry guys, I can't wait any longer. I need to apply this stuff. My lips are bugging me. Let's see. Wait, Lumen, I'm about to read your comments. You quit taking medicine for ADHD. So that's like making you more open to like spiritual forces or like non-physical forces, basically, and difficult to focus with all that. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like I don't have that issue personally, or hell, maybe I do. I mean, that's why it's taken me years to be able to learn how to focus in physical reality. And it was so hard to do that before, but like I'm sure I don't if I do have anything like that, I'm sure I don't have it to the extent that you have, but I can understand like what you're saying. Because I think what you're saying is like part of you is not really focused in physical reality. Like part of you is still like tuned to the non-physical realms, like sort of beyond the veil or whatever. Yeah, there are others born with that, I've heard, and it can be quite challenging. Teal Swan apparently is one of them, or at least she claims to be. I believe her though. All right. So the second useful crystal with the Four of Wands is hematite. Hematite crystals have an excellent grounding and balancing energy, as well as being a powerful aid to stimulate the mind. They enhance memory and evoke deep thought. They can be made into jewelry as seen in the picture above. They will assist the development of logical thought processes and help you to reach the highest capacity possible. They will heighten self-confidence, willpower, and self-esteem. The energy of these stones have a strong physical grounding energy that vibrates strongly at the base or root chakra. Oh, cool. So let's just go over that one more time. So they have an excellent grounding and balancing energy, as well as being a powerful aid to stimulate the mind. They enhance memory and evoke deep thought. They can be made into jewelry, as seen in the picture above. I guess maybe, wait, picture above, was that tiger's eye or hematite? I don't know what we were looking at. Maybe one or two was tiger's eye, the other was hematite. They will assist the development of logical thought processes and help you to reach the highest capacity possible. They will heighten self-confidence, willpower, and self-esteem. The energy of these stones have a strong physical grounding energy that vibrates strongly at the base or root chakra. Huh. Well, that also sounds like stuff I could use. This hematite. Interesting. I need to get all kinds of crystals and stones. I need to get all the stones, all the crystals. Let's see. Affirmations and the Four of Wands. 1. This is the only one that is listed. Completing the old releases me for the new. So isn't that interesting, though, also about the Four of Wands here, is that it's like, I'll let this in. It's like there's also this element of breaking free or breaking into something new, as much as it's about completion and stability, there's also like, I don't know, this sort of recurring theme or this hint of like, oh, we're going to break free, freedom, new areas, or like breaking free into something new, or like, like this affirmation that is listed or recommended or whatever says, completing the old releases me for the new, even though it's primarily about stability and sort of things not really moving for a bit. There's also this idea of like freedom hinted at, interestingly enough. But anyway, that's it for that website. So well, that took us nearly an hour to get through, but that's okay because it's good stuff. This green tea, what would I do without it? Love crystals. Visit Earth's Art in New Albany, Indiana. If you are ever in the area, I used to work there. LOL. Oh, okay, cool. Earth's Art in New Albany, Indiana. Well, if I ever find myself there, I hope that I come across that place. Frequency thing, get Obsidian, Dragon's Glass, dang, Game of Thrones, that's with Dragon Glass, Obsidian. I've always wanted to watch Game of Thrones, but I haven't really been able to, sadly. Like, I don't have HBO, I think it's on. And I guess I could pay for that via like Hulu or something, but I don't know. I can't really afford to spend money on stuff like that. As for getting it on Blu-ray, I might be able to do that one of these days. I've looked at it before because apparently on Blu-ray, Game of Thrones is like one of the best quality shows like ever. Like video and audio quality getting like top scores all around. It's amazing. I don't know how the hell they did it. But Dragon's Glass, that's interesting. I haven't heard of that one. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many freaking stones and like crystals and all that I want, like that I'd like to have. It's crazy. Like pretty much every single one, I'm like, ooh, I want that. But all in good time. All in good time. But the reason I brought up the black onyx also, though, is because I've been reading this book about tarot shadow work, and it says that black onyx, at least for those that are attuned to it, is quite advantageous for shadow work. It's one of the stones/crystals that they listed for that, which there are others, but that one caught my attention in particular because it's extra advantageous for those with a lot of Capricorn in their chart, which I have. I've got like, how did Rick Levine put it one time? More planets than should be the legal limit in Capricorn. That's literally me. Uranus, Neptune, Sun, Saturn, Mercury, all in Capricorn. But so anyway, so moving on, let's look now not just specifically at the Thoth version of the Four of Wands anymore, but both the Rider-Waite and the Thoth. And let's look at biddytarot.com, their article on the Four of Wands. Okay, here we go. Four of Wands, tarot card meanings, keywords: upright, celebration, joy, harmony, relaxation, homecoming. Reversed, personal celebration, inner harmony, conflict with others, transition. Ooh, that's interesting. The reverse meanings on here. Hang on one second. I'm gonna see if I can improve this lighting now. Because now, wait. Now I shouldn't have to show my tablet a whole lot, so I could probably get away with a certain amount of additional lighting, just not too much. I think this is good. Though watch me change it again in 5 minutes. All right. Four of Wands, tarot card meanings and description. The Four of Wands shows two happy people dancing and celebrating with flowers in their hands. In the foreground, a beautiful wreath abounding with blossoms and grapes suspends between wands. Together, these elements represent the joy and satisfaction that comes with achieving an important goal or milestone. In the background, another group of people, perhaps a family, stand in front of a large castle, representing the safety and comfort of the home. Upright Four of Wands tarot card meanings. The Four of Wands is a card of joyful celebration, blissful happiness, and appreciation for the good things in life. When this card appears in a tarot reading, it is the perfect time to celebrate with those you love most. You may commemorate a significant event or milestone such as a wedding, birthday, homecoming, or reunion. Or you may invite a few of your favorite friends over for an intimate dinner for no particular reason except to revel in each other's company. Relax and let your hair down. Enjoy this special time together. The Four of Wands can show that you are returning home to the people and places familiar to you. You feel supported and secure, knowing you are with those who love you and care about you. Because the Four of Wands associates so closely with the home environment, you may work on improving or renovating your house or are close to finding a new one. Perhaps you recently purchased a home and are getting ready to settle down in your new habitat. The Four of Wands tells you that after a period of rapid growth and expansion, the energy of the Three of Wands, it's now time to pause and celebrate what you have achieved so far. Step back for a moment and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Acknowledge your hard work and give yourself permission to take a small break before embarking on the next phase of your journey. It's essential you observe these smaller milestones. I think that's good advice. My chair doesn't want to let me scoot in it at all very much. Oh well. In numerology, 4 symbolizes stability and firm foundations, and with the Four of Wands, you are now enjoying a period of happiness and security. This card indicates a sense of harmony and balance as well as completion, and thus denotes a time of peace and contentment in life that comes as the result of hard-fought efforts. If you have been working on a project, you will reach an important milestone and have reason to celebrate. If you just wrapped up your project, the Four of Wands represents the personal gratification of a job well done, a goal attained, and a vision beginning to be realized. You should be proud. Oh, nice. Next up is the reversed Four of Wands meanings. Wait, what's going on? Like, it'll share your account with me on what? Wait, Amazon. You mean to like be able to watch Game of Thrones, or I'm so confused. I'm sorry. Send my password. Thank you. We are family as far as I'm concerned. Aw, well, thank you, Lumen. Thank you so much, aka Ginny. Yeah, but no, seriously, like you're one of my most frequent viewers, and I really appreciate like you coming back time and time again. You know, you're one of the very few regulars, and I appreciate that. It's nice to know that there's people who want to, watch this stuff. But yeah, of course I have. Yeah, I could probably like get that through my one email, I think. But here, let's continue to multitask. Reversed Four of Wands tarot card meanings. The Four of Wands reversed can indicate that you are celebrating the achievement of a personal goal. For example, reaching your goal weight, quitting smoking, or doing yoga for 30 days in a row. You do not feel compelled to proclaim this achievement to others, instead choosing to create your own special reward for the hard work you put in. You may also be in the midst of your journey and yet reach the finish line, hence preferring to honor this mini milestone privately. When you finally do arrive at the finish line, it will be worth celebrating with friends and family. The reversed Four of Wands can also mean that you have achieved a level of inner harmony and stability. If you doubted yourself in the past or struggled with self-acceptance or empathy, the appearance of this card is a welcome sign that you have found a sense of greater balance within yourself. You know who you are and why you are here. You have, quote unquote, come home to yourself and your inner being. So these meanings are rather interesting, aren't they? So they're making it much more about like the personal world with the Four of Wands reversed, which I don't think we've really seen much, if any, of so far. Let's see, again, it's like if you doubted yourself in the past or struggled with self-acceptance or empathy, the appearance of this card is a welcome sign that you have found a sense of greater balance within yourself. Huh. Interesting. Feels like a novel take on it for our purposes. The Four of Wands reversed also has its shadow side. It may point to a lack of harmony or a breakdown in communication in your family or household. Tension might be rumbling between family members or loved ones, and you keep finding yourself getting caught up in other people's concerns and relationship problems. This may leave you uncertain about your relationships and what or whom you can and cannot depend on. You may also go through a period of transition in your family and home life and experience some discomfort as a result. Given the upright Four of Wands reflects stability, the reversal of this card can suggest that you are going through an upheaval during which you have little stability and security. You may experience multiple changes in your life, such as changing jobs, moving house, or leaving a relationship. While you know this is an important transition, one you need to make, it can be quite unsettling, knocking you out of balance and making you feel uncertain about your future. Interesting. So the reversal can suggest that you are going through an upheaval during which you have little stability and security. You may experience multiple changes in your life, such as changing jobs, moving house, or leaving a relationship. It can be quite unsettling, knocking you out of balance, making you feel uncertain about your future. Yeah, and that's more how I have traditionally or would traditionally interpret the Four of Wands reversed. So anyway, that's it for that site. Let's see. Amazon Prime. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so like that's your email, and then so your password. I don't know. Do you want to like? How do you want to get your password? Or like, how would that be conveyed? I guess if you wanted, you could always. Well, I don't know if you'd feel safe about this or not, but you could type it in the chat, and then I'll take it down. And then you delete it, or like delete your comment in the chat, or you could email it to me. I guess. Which the freaking hell is even my email address? Where is it? Hang on. Yeah, poetic_heretic@mail.com. Yeah. I don't know. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But that would be so nice. And yeah, then I'd watch it and I'd report back. I'd be like, I watched Game of Thrones and this is what I thought. You love being here? Well, thank you. And I love having you here. It's so delightful knowing that there are people out there that want to learn about all these spiritual subjects. Spiritual, esoteric, occult, whatever you want to call them. So let's move on to our next source. Let's see. Okay, here we go. In Path of the Fool by Michael Tessarion, it says, Four of Wands. Accomplishment, completion, harmonious conclusion, culmination of one phase, enjoying work well done, satisfaction, rewards, lazy time, relaxation, review, remaining steadfast, composure under pressure, projects progressing steadily, a fixed, predictable plan, sound judgments. Discrimination, heeding the facts, favorable meetings and agreements, cooperation, camaraderie, domestic harmony, fortunate advice, awards, recognition, praise, health, rejuvenation, well-being. Reversed, vacillation, lack of concentration, projects prematurely suspended or abandoned, flagging inspiration or commitment, hasty decisions, missing the obvious, flaws go unseen, disorder, foolish risks, professional incompetence, lack of organization and discipline, distraction at a critical time, impatience, lack of composure, lack of commitment, half-baked plans and ideas, fraud, misdirection, failure, shattered promises, harmony disturbed, rejection, being ignored, incompatibility with associates, discord, organization required, fresh input needed, expert assistance required. Interesting stuff. All right. Our farmers inside joke, just gloss over. All right, then. And it reminds me of Cicero in Skyrim, where he's like the farmer is at his farm. Where else would he be? I just found that really funny. All right, so next, let's look at another website, diving ever deeper into the mystery of the Four of Wands. I love how the more I do this, like, as I get going, like, eventually I just get really into the flow of it, and then I feel like I could just do it, for hours and hours. Just analyze these cards. I love it. Let's see, I think we went to this site earlier, but let me just see. Just email me and I'll email it back to you. Okay, cool. Thanks so much, Lumen, aka Ginny. That'll work. All right. Yeah, I could probably even, here, I'm going to multitask. Like, I'm going to get, you'll see. I'm going to, like, load my mail and read the stuff at the same time because I believe I can do that. People watching when this is not live will probably be like, what on earth is he doing? Let's see. I know we were at Teach Me Tarot earlier in part 1. Divination and fortunetelling.com. Four of Wands. You want me to just paste the email? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Let's see. Should have that right here. Yeah, I swear I will watch Game of Thrones if given the opportunity. I will watch it. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to watch, a lot of it or all of it like all at once or anything like that. I like to sort of pace myself with shows, but I'll definitely check it out. Like I've wanted to watch that since it became a thing, like since I first heard about it and heard what great audio video quality it has, which I wonder if via Amazon Prime, if there'll be like good HD quality and surround sound. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I'm just thankful to be able to watch it at all. All right, let's see here. Divinationandfortunetelling.com. The Four of Wands, predictive tarot card meanings. The Four of Wands is the card of stability. You will draw the Four of Wands when all is well, or is going to be well, in your home life. The Four of Wands is a very family-oriented card. For the period of time which the Four of Wands represents, your family will be on your mind. Therefore, if you're looking for reassurance about a family matter or issue, the Four of Wands is the card you will want to see. Ooh, you know what I just thought of? I had a really good idea about these streams. So, like with Four of Wands, what we should do, I hope I remember to do this at some point, we should study the fourth house specifically, like read at least one article about that, or maybe a couple short articles, and also the sign of Cancer that corresponds to. We should read like, one or two or three, depending on the length, articles about that to get an understanding of that aspect of it. Why didn't I think of this before? Maybe even read about fours in numerology as well. Holy shit. There's like so much more we can do I didn't even realize before, but I realize it now. All right, here we go. Maybe we'll start doing that after this site, I guess. As it symbolizes the family, the Four of Wands also represents the home. Perhaps you're considering making a house move or a will in the future. If you desire an uproot, the Four of Wands is good omen. Often it will be a family home in the cards as opposed to a lad's pad or apartment. What the hell is that? I'm sorry, that's just really funny to me. I've never heard that term before, and it's in quotes, lad's pad. What? Lad's pad. Sounds like a good place for me. I don't know. I want to go to a lad's pad. Sounds like my kind of, no, I don't even know. People probably won't even get why that's funny to me. Anyway, on a more minor level, there could be home improvements. While this may be stressful, do not worry. All will end well and you will have your house just as you want it. In general, times will be happy. Relationships, jobs, and work will be stable, for a short time at least. As it predicts a comfortable outcome, Four of Wands in a future position is desirable. If there is a particular area of life, or a particular area of your life which you are concerned about, the Four of Wands should put you at ease. Although the Four of Wands is a positive card, there will be times when it appears as a negative or a drawback. In these cases, it can mean that you're too introverted and not willing to put yourself out there. You rarely venture out past your comfort zone and are too afraid to mingle with new people in a strange place. Your need to feel like you belong to something or somewhere is also putting a damper on your creativity and independence. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, and that makes total sense too. A bit of a dark side of the Four of Wands. Talking about the possibility of excess introversion, being unwilling to put oneself out there, or afraid to, rarely venturing out past one's comfort zone, too afraid to mingle with new people in a strange place. Fascinating. Yeah, and again, it makes total sense with that, that water element with Cancer in the fourth house. Sent it. Awesome. Thank you. Mail or Gmail? Just mail. It is mail. It's a common confusion with that email address. It is not Gmail. It's just mail. All right, so let's see. Next up is the Four of Wands historical meaning. My tea is complete. In times now past, the Four of Wands was associated with community, networking in the countryside. If you're interested in moving home, you should look for a place in the country, or your tarot cards could be telling you that you'll move there one day. If you take the historical meaning into consideration, then the Four of Wands can be advising you to go and mingle with your locals. Get to know your neighbors. You never know what can result from a little bit of socializing. Yeah, see, how do people do that? That's what I want to know. How do you get to know your neighbors, if you never see them? I don't, that's one area of life I just do not understand. If I saw them, that'd be different. I'd be like, oh, hi, but I never see my neighbors. Anyway, the Four of Wands in a love reading. If you're wondering what a potential partner is feeling about you, then the Four of Wands is a good card to get. It means that they find comfort in your company and would rather have you around than not. It can also symbolize the fact that they see you as someone who has long-term partner potential, not just a fling. However, if the Four of Wands appears as a negative or in a sinister-looking spread, it can mean that, although your partner sees you as marriage material, they may not be ready just yet to make that commitment. Therefore, if your lover seems overly childish or difficult to pin down, beware. Just because they see you as wifey material doesn't mean they're ready to put a ring on it. If you really want to know about, okay, then they're just advertising their book. Hang on. Huh, interesting. I'm gonna multitask as usual. It is a very good sign to get a Four of Wands in an outcome position for love readings. It can mean that you will set up a happy home with your lover. Even if all does not last between you and your current partner, the Four of Wands is reassurance that you will one day be in a comfortable, stable relationship and someone you will live with. Or wait, I totally read that wrong. That you will one day be in a comfortable, stable relationship with someone you will live with. Okay. That time it was my fault and not that of the article. Although the Four of Wands is not a marriage card per se, which marks romantic seriousness. That's literally, okay, that time it is the article's fault. That literally makes no sense. It says which marks romantic seriousness. Well, whatever. The Four of Wands can mean that you will soon set up home with your partner, which of course is a notable commitment. And next up is the Four of Wands in a business reading. So let's see here. Even though the Four of Wands does not deal with business, I am inclined to read it as a brilliant business card for several reasons. Many company owners do not earn enough to take home a substantial wage from their business. Therefore, any indication that they are, new home, new car, generally means that they do not fall into this category. Therefore, I read anything in a tarot reading related to large purchases as a plus. Wait a second. What does that even mean? Hang on. Many company owners do not earn enough to take home a substantial wage from their business. Therefore, any indication that they are, like a new home or new car, generally means that they do not fall into this category. In what category? Like what they're going over with the Four of Wands associated with business, I guess. Therefore, I read anything in a tarot reading related to large purchases as a plus. Usually, the Four of Wands comes up as a house you have bought, not one you have gotten through other means, rent, government. Any business owner knows that it takes a substantial amount of money to be able to afford a home because, compared to people we do not work for themselves, we pay a bigger deposit. Wait, what? That's literally what it says, compared to people we do not work for themselves. Probably supposed to say compared to people who do not work for themselves. The Four of Wands implies to me that your business is, or one day will, be able to afford you with a home of your own. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, I hope I see this card more. Then it's sure as hell will be nice for me. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you could call what I have going on a business. My God, so professional, so sophisticated. But perhaps technically, I don't know. That's what it would be like when I like give people tarot readings and they pay me for it and stuff. I guess that's technically a business. All right, here we go. Four of Wands as a yes or no. The Four of Wands is usually a yes for most types of questions. The Four of Wands as a positive. In a positive reading or spread position, the Four of Wands predicts a new home, the purchase of property, relationships becoming serious, feeling comforted, safe, and secure, being part of a community. The Four of Wands as a negative. In a more negative reading or spread position, the Four of Wands can predict you're too introverted, you're too attached to what you're used to, You don't like to meet new people. You don't like to have new experiences. To be happy, you need to feel like you belong. If you're curious what your lover or potential lover's feelings and intentions are towards you, below, okay, now they're just talking about their tarot guide or whatever. All right, let's see here. Looks like there's like other stuff. There's like a summary. Yeah, I'm gonna multitask as usual. Let's see. Four of Wands predictive tarot meaning. Home, new home, joy, happy event, belonging, the country, family. Positives. A new home, purchase a property, relationships becoming serious, feeling comforted, safe, and secure. Negatives. You're too introverted. You're too attached to what you're used to. You don't like to meet new people. Need for belonging. Interesting. I think we're about to wrap it up here with this site, that is. Illustration. In a tarot card reading, the Four of Wands in a spread can be a symbol of home and family, or be a symbol of home and family. This post includes vintage and modern fortune-telling meanings of the Four of Wands, ideal for the advanced reader or those just learning the cards. These interpretations can be used with any of the decks, Rider-Waite, Marseille, etc. Okay, is there anything else on here about the Four of Wands? No, there is not. All right, yeah, so next we'll look at specifically, well, why don't we start with the sign of Cancer, correspondent to the fourth house? Why don't we branch out just a little bit and connect that in ways to the Four of Wands energy, because it is connected. And also, Ginny, I got your password, got your email at the password, so thank you very much. So let's see, I'm going to take one moment and note that in my phone. And hell yeah, thank you so much. I will check out Game of Thrones. I will absolutely do that. Let's see. Just pull this up here. Which, I mean, I guess it's saved in my email, but it's easier for me if it's in my phone. So yes, we'll look at the sign of Cancer and how it connects to its energy anyway, connects to the Four of Wands card. And then we'll look at more book material, then another website, then the fourth house energy. And just keep going until we cover everything relevant, basically. Okay, there we go. All right. But yeah, thank you so much. Like, that is so nice. Personal peek into my Amazon life. Hello. Oh yeah, geez. Yeah, like, thank you for like trusting me with that. That's really like good. Like, don't worry, I will only go on there and watch Game of Thrones. That's all I'm gonna do. Share with an ex who's a Taurus. Keep that in mind. All right, I shall keep that in mind. Well, Taurians are generally very stable people, so that's good. Of course, I'm a Taurus moon myself. Finally learned to co-parent like you and your Taurus ex. Huh. That's good. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to think of the various like book sources that we still have left. So 78 Degrees of Wisdom, the Complete Book of Tarot Reversals, and the Book of Thoth. I think that's it for the book material that we still have left, I think. Yeah, that has to be it. Okay. So right now, yeah, let's literally look at the sign of Cancer in astrology. Let's just like read about that with the understanding that this energy is going to apply to the Four of Wands. Let's see, zodiacsignsastrology.com. Let's see what they have to offer. Okay, this is pretty good amount of information, looks like. So we can just like we can just look at this, and that'll suffice for our study of Cancer as part of our study of the Four of Wands, if that makes sense. All right, Cancer astrology, June 21st through July 22nd. Although June 21st can also be Gemini, depending on the time of day someone's born, I believe. I'm pretty sure. But anyway. Strength keywords: loyalty, dependable, caring, adaptive, responsive. Weakness keywords: moody, clingy, self-pitying, oversensitive, self-absorbed. Independence. Cancer is the astrology sign that is packed full of contradictions, so when it comes to independence, they possibly can or cannot be independent. On one side, they have the perseverance and drive to do what needs to be done. They are self-sufficient and do not need to depend on other people for the material and physical things in life. On the other hand, they depend on people for emotional support and encouragement. One that is not fully self-actualized will need the constant support of others and will not be very independent, but the one that is quote-unquote evolved and has properly harnessed their emotional issues will be wildly successful as an independent human being. They crave attention and comfort from other people, and they are happiest when they have a small, close-knit group of friends or family. Friendship. Extremely loyal to those who appreciate and support them, they are the nurturer of the zodiac and will protect and cherish the person for a long time. One of the greatest things about Cancer is their ability to make others feel good about themselves and loved. This is because instead of doing this for themselves, they project this onto other people. This is a positive cycle because in making others feel nurtured, wanted, and loved, they in return feel good from making someone feel good. Other people can lean on and depend on them. They will listen to people's problems and help them. However, they will rarely express their own deep feelings to anyone. People who want to share deep emotional thoughts and opinions with a Cancer might feel that the scales are tipped on one side and will rarely reveal its true deep feelings. A friend is usually a lifelong devoted friend that can be trusted. And so again, think about this, all this like caring, nurturing Cancerian energy is infused into the Four of Wands inherently. Business. Once Cancer resolved their emotional issues such as shyness and insecurity, the powerful character will shine through. The way this is written is difficult. There's practically nothing they can't do. They have incredible perseverance and will stand up for what they believe in. With their strong intuition, sensitivity, powers of observation, and intelligence, they will have great success in anything they undertake. They are excellent business people and investors because of their intuitive and psychic ability and their creative, forward-thinking mind. They are able to predict future trends. They attract wealth very well and know where to invest. Money and financial well-being is very important to Cancer, and this can help their drive in business. They need financial security, and if they allow themselves to properly focus their energy and do not allow their emotions to overtake them, they are more than capable of obtaining their financial goals and being incredibly successful business people. Temperament. They are complex, fragile, unpredictable, temperamental, and need constant support and encouragement, more than any other astrology sign to be needed. Even when all needs are satisfied, they can be irritable and cranky. Yeah, I would say from what I've observed, Cancer probably has the strongest emotional needs of the entire zodiac. At least, again, from what I've observed, that would be my strongest theory about it at this point. And I hear a lot of times people criticize the sign of Cancer and say, "Oh, they're too sensitive. Those sensitive cancers," and that certainly doesn't, justify any cancers who, because I've seen this happen before too, who use their emotional discontentment as an excuse to sort of attack or hurt others. It doesn't justify that, but it's also not right to sort of invalidate cancers by and their emotional needs by saying, "Oh, they're just too sensitive" or whatever. Well, sensitivity is there for a reason. Those are emotional needs that are valid and need to be met. So that's what I would say. That's what I would ask people to look at. They have an uneasy, delicate temperament. Their contradictory nature gives their temperament the wild mood swings and possible temper tantrums. They are easily offended and will sulk and wallow in self-pity for a long time when they get hurt. Deep inside. It is difficult for Cancer to open up and have a close, emotionally fulfilled relationship with someone because they are so closed off emotionally and physically to the world. This is driven by their fear of trust and have a difficult time trusting people. This causes built-up anger and resentment inside. The contradictory nature really takes a toll on them, and they can have a negative outlook on life, thinking that life is just too hard and miserable. This is unfortunate because when good experiences are to be had, they are skeptical of people and their surroundings, and they experience tunnel vision due to their depressed outlook, and they miss the nice things and happy experiences in life that make it worth living. In addition to lack of trust for people, they are deeply sensitive and easily hurt. This is other reason why they have their defense shell in place to avoid being hurt by others. Cancer lives in the past. They hold past events close to them and often dwell on the past. They have to learn to let go and live in the present instead of spending their time being sick with nostalgia. Cancer has a lot of emotional issues to deal with, but once they overcome this large hump of shyness and insecurity, there is practically nothing they can't do. With their strong intuition, sensitivity, powers of observation, and intelligence, they will have great success in anything they undertake. Constantly feelings and emotions are hallmarks of this sign, and this is the root of their problems. Human beings are not as evolved in the emotional area, and this is where they get the brunt of their problems. They are the ones who have to cope with their strong feelings more so than any other sign. Once properly harnessed, there is nothing that is this powerful astrology sign cannot accomplish. Another error in one of these sites, but I guess it's supposed to say there's nothing that this powerful astrology sign cannot accomplish. Harmony is very important. It keeps them happy. Conflict of any kind causes great distress. Deep inside, Cancer is a very powerful sign. They have the ability to stand up for what they think is right, and they have lots of perseverance and can be fine on their own, provided they don't let their emotions get the better of them and have the stability they need. They are not fond of change, but they have the ability to do what needs to be done. They're not pushovers or lazy people. In a nutshell, Cancer is a mysterious sign filled with contradictions. They want security and comfort, yet seek new adventure. They are very helpful to others, yet sometimes can be cranky and indifferent. Cancer has a driving, forceful personality that can be easily hidden beneath a calm and cool exterior. The crab is Cancer's ruling animal, and it suits them well. They can come out of their shell and fight, but they can also hide in their shell of skitter away. I guess it's supposed to say, or skitter away back into the depths of the ocean. They are very unpredictable. There is always something more that meets the eye, for they are always partially hidden behind the shell. They are people need to double check their freaking sites. They have a deep psyche and intuitive mind that is hidden from the world. They are deeply sensitive and easily hurt. This might be why they have their defense shell in place, to avoid being hurt by others. They are nurturers, so they surround themselves with people whom after a while can offend or hurt a Cancer without even knowing they did so. Therefore, Cancer's protective shell keeps them safe from hurt. They are complex, fragile, unpredictable, and temperamental, and need constant support and encouragement more than any other astrology signs. Cancer needs to be needed. When they get the support they need, it has a tremendous amount to offer in return. When Cancer gets offended, they tend to sulk instead of confronting the person face to face. This needlessly prolongs the pain and suffering. Yeah, in that instance, I do have to say, sorry to any Cancerians out there, but if you do that, that's on you. If someone hurts you or offends you or whatever, it is up to you to speak up and say, hey, what you said or what you did or whatever hurt me. If you don't communicate that, then the blame is on you. The fault is yours for not letting the other person know that there was an issue. You can't just expect people to read minds, period. Creepy crab, lol. Oh, geez. Well, hopefully there's not too much creepiness going on. No, there. Cancers are generally very caring people. All right. Being very possessive, not just with material possessions, but with people as well. Always wanting to stay in touch with old friends and anyone who has ever been close to them, because it is easier to maintain a friendship than attempt to learn to trust a new person. It is easier this way for them emotionally. If you befriend them, you will stay friends for a long time. The perfect mother. This is the sign that represents motherhood. They have unconditional love and caring more so than any other astrology sign. Most of the psychics of the world are Cancer. Are they? Is that accurate? I don't know about that. Most of the psychics of the world are Cancer. I don't know about that. I would say a lot of Aquarius people are going to be psychics. Pisces is a very psychic sign. I think even my sign of Capricorn, well, we tend to be associated or interested in the occult. But yeah. And then the sign of Scorpio as well, another water sign, pretty psychic sign. Yeah, I don't think most of the psychics in the world are Cancer. I would be shocked. Where are they getting this information? Anyway, whatever. They have an excellent memory and are very observant and can read people very well. They can usually tell other people's intentions, or if other people's intentions are good or not. Never try to dupe them. They can see your motives. Cancer has a lot of emotional issues to deal with, but once they overcome this large hump of shyness and insecurity, there's practically nothing they can't do. With their strong intuition, sensitivity, powers of observation, and intelligence, they will have great success in anything they undertake. And all right, this other stuff doesn't really seem all that applicable or relevant to our current study, so we'll just leave it at that for Cancer. So yeah, again, take that knowledge and understanding about the sign of Cancer and apply it to the Four of Wands card, because with it being a 4, the energy of Cancer is literally built in to this card, Cancer in the 4th house. So 4 of Wands is a Cancerian card. Now, astrologically, it corresponds to Venus and Aries, so don't get that mixed up. But via the 4, it's a Cancerian card. So yeah, next what we'll do, I'm going to try to keep all these like rotating in my mind, is we'll look at 78 Degrees of Wisdom's information about the 4 of Wands. Then we'll look at another website about the 4 of Wands. Then we'll look at the 4th house specifically. We could also look at the water element at some point as well, I suppose. Maybe we should look at fire, since that's what the 4 of Wands actually is, but I don't know. Since fire, then we'd have to do that like every week. Might get a bit redundant. I have no idea. Let's see, 78 Degrees of Wisdom. Let's see. There it is, 4 of Wands. Bringing up the Tower for some reason, looks like. Wait, let's see. threw me under the bus so many times. My head is still ringing, all behind the mask of Jesus. She used to have this creepy smile. She would call her out. It's not all cancer, sorry. It left an extremely bad taste in my mouth. Her special checks in regards to my virginity. Just cut that cord last month. Oh, geez. I'm sorry to hear that, Lumen. So using Jesus and religion as an excuse to throw you under the bus, to perhaps invalidate you or attack you or dismiss you or try to make you inferior or whatever. I kind of can see what you're saying. Yeah, that would upset anyone. That would piss anyone off. Yeah. I would not like that at all. Sorry that you went through that. But you cut that cord well. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. And I'm glad that you're able to do so. I have to get some water soon, I think. So, yes. Yeah. See, let this be a lesson to people watching now and who watch when this is not live. You see what I did just now? I empathized with someone else's struggle, I empathized with, validated someone else's struggle. Is it really that hard, people? Is it really that hard to be there for one another? Is it really that hard to connect with people and understand them and validate them? You see? I'm sorry, not to get up on my soapbox here, but kind of what I do anyway. The human race needs to freaking learn how to connect with one another. I don't know what else to say other than that. Stop trying to tell people, oh, you should just think positive, or, oh, you should just do this, or you should just do that. No, actually take a moment to understand the emotional reality of what people are experiencing. Funny, because that almost connects to the Four of Wands in a way. You want true love and harmony. Well, that's going to begin with connection, understanding people. Makes all the difference in the world. Yes, it does. All right, so anyway. But indeed, I'm glad that that's a situation that it looks like you're able to get past or are getting past. All right, so 78 degrees of wisdom, Four of Wands. The number 4, with its image of the square, implies stasis or solidity. The irrepressible Wand's energy, however, requires no protective fences, as does, say, Pentacles. It will not be contained, and so we see people marching out ecstatically to the simplest of structures, trusting in the sun to burn off any clouds of trouble. Wait, as usual, this book already has me lost. So the number 4, with its image of the square, implies stasis or solidity. The irrepressible Wand's energy, however, requires no protective fences, as does, say, Pentacles. It will not be contained, and so we see people marching out ecstatically to the simplest of structures, trusting in the sun to burn off any clouds of trouble. Interesting. The card represents a domestic environment filled with fire, optimism, eagerness, and celebration. As in the 6, we see people following the dancers. Unlike that card, however, where the soldiers followed the charismatic leader, the people here are swept along by joy. They are leaving a walled city for the open bower. In other words, their spirit and courage carry them from a defensive situation to an open one. We can contrast this image with that of the tower shown on the right, which it showed an image of that above this. The 2 figures in that major card are dressed very similarly, even to blue and red robes, to the 2 in the Four of Wands. In its less esoteric meanings, the tower shows the explosion that results when people allow a repressive or miserable situation to build up to an intolerable level. In the Four of Wands, optimism and love of freedom carry the people together out of their walled city before it becomes a tower-like prison. That's interesting, relating the Four of Wands to the Tower card. And saying that it's basically the idea of like the optimism and love of freedom in the Four of Wands card, all this love and harmony and everything. And this card literally carries the people away from their walled city before it becomes like the tower. So it's like through the love and harmony of the Four of Wands, those in it and of it escape the disaster of the tower. Isn't that fascinating? Okay. Sort of stabilizing my energy here. Reversed. Waite calls this card unchanged upside down. The joy is so powerful it cannot be blocked. Oh dear. So Waite himself said that? Now I feel a little bit twisted about having said that that is like way too rudimentary of a meaning or whatever. I don't know. Waite himself said it. That could be different. We can add, however, that the reversed four might indicate, like the sun in the major arcana, that the happiness in the environment is not so obvious. As with the family and the Ten of Pentacles, the people symbolized here may need to learn to appreciate what they have. Another possibility, the happiness in the person's environment is just as strong, but unorthodox, at least in terms of other people's attitudes and expectations. So again, the reversed four might indicate, like the sun in the major arcana, that the happiness in the environment is not so obvious. As with the family and the Ten of Pentacles, the people symbolized here may need to learn to appreciate what they have. Another possibility, the happiness in the person's environment is just as strong, but unorthodox, at least in terms of other people's attitudes and expectations. Interesting. The happiness in the person's environment is just as strong, but unorthodox, at least in terms of other people's attitudes and expectations. I feel like a lot of times my happiness is strong, like in contrast to, or even in spite of, the shitty environment that I am often in. But that's because I have trained myself to be, at least at times, largely unconditional, which comes with its own advantages and disadvantages, as well as challenges and rewards, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was interesting. 78 degrees of wisdom. All right, so next, let's look at another website. Four of Wands. And where have we not been yet? We've been to a lot. Have we been to the Tarot Guide? Let's see. No, we have not, but let's see, can I fix this? Yes, show the simplified view. Because the text is way too small on here. Oh yeah, here we go. Now it's so much better. Although actually at this point, so I've been without a drink for a bit here. Hang on, my tablet is bothering me. Without my tea, my green tea. And so I'm going to apply a little more of this stuff, and then I'm going to have to get some water, because otherwise my voice is going to become depleted. So, dear viewers, thank you so much for being here. We're going to take a little intermission. I'm going to be right back. Be right back with some water, and then we shall continue. So, one moment. All right, I have returned with my water. You can hear the ice through the microphone, I'm sure. All right. Okay, so let's resume our study of the Four of Wands. See, as I said before, this is from the tarotguide.com. Four of Wands tarot card meaning, general meaning and interpretation upright. Four of Wands upright meaning guide. In a love tarot spread, if you are in a relationship, the Four of Wands is a great omen representing happy family life, success, stability, security, and laying down roots, so your relationship should be going very well when it appears. It is also a minor arcana card signifying celebrations and, as such, can represent parties, welcoming ceremonies, baptisms, and family coming together. It is a very strong indicator of a wedding, so if you are hoping to tie the knot, it is a very welcome card to see. If you are single, the Four of Wands is also a good omen, indicating parties, celebrations, and feeling like you fit in, so you should be enjoying single life when it appears. It can also represent reunion, so a past love may come back into your life when it appears. In a career tarot spread, the Four of Wands indicates that things should be going well in work at the moment. Your work environment is a pleasant and supportive one, and you should be getting along well with your colleagues when it appears. There is a happy and productive team atmosphere indicated by this minor arcana card. It can also signify a work gathering such as an office party. In a financial tarot reading, the Four of Wands indicates that your finances are in good condition at the moment. This will be down to hard work and sound financial planning on your part, so well done. You may be using this wealth to treat your loved ones to a nice meal or day out when this card appears. In a health tarot reading, the Four of Wands is a good omen as it signifies good health and vitality and returning to good health after an illness. It is also a happy family card, so a good omen to get if you are pregnant. In a spiritual context, the Four of Wands can represent ceremonies and communities, so you may have rituals and events to attend within your religious or spiritual community. If you are invited to take part in events or workshops, it is good omen indicating that you will be made to feel welcome and will find acceptance and support at those events. Four of Wands upright tarot card key meanings, reversed meaning guide. In a general context, the Four of Wands reversed represents unhappy families, being jilted or canceled celebrations, surprises, parties, or events. It can signify leaving home, postponed or canceled reunions, feeling like you don't fit in, not being made to feel welcome, and lack of support. This minor arcana card, when reversed, can indicate failure, lack of achievement, neglect, instability, insecurity, and being transient or uprooted. It tells you that you may experience self-doubt and that your self-esteem may be low when it appears. It also represents a lack of teamwork or community spirit and communities or families divided. In a love tarot spread, if you're in a relationship, the Four of Wands reversed is not a great omen as it can represent unhappy family life, failure, instability, insecurity, neglect, and being uprooted, so your relationship may be going through a tough or an unpredictable time when it appears in your tarot spread. When reversed, it is also a minor arcana card signifying canceled or postponed celebrations. Why does this sound like what we just read? I don't know, whatever. Canceled or postponed celebrations and family being divided, so it can indicate that you and your partner may not be seeing eye to eye, or you may be having some issues with getting your family to accept your relationship. It is an indicator being jilted at the altar or a postponed wedding, so if you are hoping to tie the knot, it is not a very welcome card to see. If you are single, the Four of Wands reverse is not a good omen as it can represent self-doubt and feeling like you don't fit in. It also indicates canceled celebrations, so you may not be having a great social life when it appears. If you have been hoping for a reunion with a past love, this card would see the reunion canceled or postponed. Just ordered this book. Let me see. Oh, I just I hit the microphone with my hand slightly, but it didn't move, so I'm glad it didn't move. High Priestess by David Skibbins. Book 2 of 4 in the Tarot Card Mystery Series. Huh, interesting. Huh, cool. Well, you should let me know, as well as everyone else know. let our little community, our little tarot community here, know how it is once you have read it. Just popped up in my feed. The timing that occurs here fucks me up sometimes, just saying. Synchronicity is a powerful thing. It's something that I see a lot. So I can kind of understand that. All right, let's see here. In a career tarot spread, the Four of Wands reversed indicates that things may not be going well in work at the moment. Your work environment is not a pleasant or supportive one. Expect clashes of personality and backbiting or undermining when this minor arcana card appears reversed in your tarot spread. You may be having trouble forming bonds with your colleagues when it appears as an unpleasant team atmosphere is indicated. It can also signify a work gathering such as an office party going badly. Be mindful of being overly friendly or drinking too much at these gatherings. It may seem like a chance to let your hair down, but you still have to behave in a professional manner if you want to avoid embarrassment on Monday morning. In a financial tarot reading, the Four of Wands reversed indicates that your finances are not in good condition at the moment. There is a lack of planning or proper management of the finances indicated by this card. You may find that a lot of your money is being spent on family expenses and you are struggling to keep on top of them. In a health tarot reading, the Four of Wands reverse can indicate shaky or poor health. It can signify that you are not taking enough time out to stop and smell the roses. However, it can also be an indication of hospitalization or needing in-home care or the assistance of family to recover from an illness that knocks you off your feet for a while. In a spiritual context, the Four of Wands reverse can represent canceled ceremonies and lack of community spirit, so you may find that rituals and events you were meant to attend within your religious or spiritual community are canceled. If you are invited to take part in events or workshops, it is not a good omen, as it can indicate that you will not feel like you fit in or find the support and acceptance you need at those events. Interesting how this theme of like fitting in as well continues to be a part of this card. But anyway, that concludes that site. So next, yes, indeed, let's look at the fourth house. We're going to learn more about the fourth house and what it means for this card. Because again, like if you want to read tarot well, if you want to be the best tarot reader you can possibly be, you've got to incorporate, all these different things like this. And especially I'd say the houses, if you get a 4, or especially if there's a number of cards in the reading and you get 2 or more 4s, you got to look at the fourth house meanings if you want to be thorough anyway. So let's see. Fourth house. Astrology. So let's see, it looks like astrolibrary.org comes up first. Just make sure this is what we're looking for. Okay, we're gonna have to scroll down a little bit. Okay, here we go. This is rather short though, so we'll have to look at maybe a couple of websites. Oh boy, let's see. The family genealogist, Thomas Dunn, adopted two Thomas boys way back in 1778. That's the whole reason I said Thomas Dunn. Thomas, my maiden name. Twin Gemini. What? Thomas Dunn is the publisher. Oh, well, that's so weird. So it's like in your family line, and the publisher is Thomas Dunn. How in the world does that happen? Whatever. Yeah. Yes, that's interesting. Also wrote the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is another card that is, I mean, I know that's a book that you're referencing, but the card itself is, seems like it can have so many meanings. All right. Fourth astrological house. The fourth house refers to the home and everything associated with it, both the childhood home and the current home. Family, land, personal foundations, inner emotional security, your roots. Astrologers are divided over whether this house is associated with one's mother or father. What is clear is that a person's upbringing is associated with this house. Wonder what the argument would be to associate it with the father. I mean, theoretically, the fourth house corresponding to Cancer, the sign of Cancer, should be associated with the mother. But the fifth house is more children, so you can't just say the fifth house is both the father and children, can you? Or can you? I have no idea. What is clear is that a person's upbringing is associated with this house. On a deeper level, the fourth house is the base of consciousness or the center of our concrete existence. See how the cusp of the fourth house is the IC. Hang on a second. Deeper level, fourth house, base of consciousness or the center of our concrete existence. Okay. See how the cusp of the fourth house is the IC, the lowest point on the chart, representative of things below the surface of Earth. Due to that, the fourth house was believed to rule the conditions at the end of life and graves. As the root or base of your real self, the fourth house rules where you go when you quote unquote die, but also where you came from. For those who believe in reincarnation, the fourth house would give clues to your karmic lesson for this lifetime. It shows what karmic baggage you brought with you into this life. Even if you don't believe in reincarnation, you're likely to be surprised by what you find in your fourth house, for it may move your soul. Huh. Interesting. Well, half my freaking chart is the fourth house, which is, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I feel like that's part of, I feel like that largely perhaps explains why I'm so often stuck in the house, and like my greatest desire ever is to travel and, go far, go far, far away, basically be free to go as I please. But yeah, like all the stuff I have in Capricorn that I mentioned earlier, that's in my fourth house. And also Venus, which I have at 5 of Aquarius, is also just at the end. It just made it into my fourth house. So I even have Venus in my fourth house in addition to all that Capricorn stuff. I mean, it's like, what don't I have in my fourth house at this point? So that's interesting. I didn't even know this stuff about like fourth house rules where you go when you die, but also where you came from. So could there be an element of death associated with the Four of Wands, a dark side to the Four of Wands? That's the question here. I need to like move these cards around so I can access them more easily. There we go. Solves the whole who the High Priestess is, aka not Pisces mystery, if you ask me. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not even familiar with that mystery. Llewellyn Publishing wrote the book on that. Llewellyn researched that name, yes. I've heard of Llewellyn Publishing, actually, because, well, I might have seen it multiple times, but I at least know that they were the ones that, they're the publishing company that Tarot Shadow Work that I came across is under, or whatever. So yeah, I've seen them in association with like multiple books on like tarot and stuff like that, it seems. And I can almost swear I've seen them elsewhere as well. So let's see. Any planets in the fourth house affect your home life, your emotions, your subconscious, and possibly your relationship with your parents. I mean, I've got so many planets in my fourth house. Like, what? My emotions and subconscious and relationship with my parents are being affected by all kinds of factors. And well, it's so twisted. Of course, if I were to go by my sun sign, like just as a Capricorn, then my fourth house would be Aries, and I have nothing in that other than my vertex, which I guess symbolizes, or not symbolizes, but indicates one's, I think it's one's destiny, basically, the vertex, which is basically saying the same thing. My destiny is all this fourth house activity. Hell, even Saturn, Sun Saturn conjunction, fourth house, Saturn, fate, destiny, you know. So I'm basically destined to be stuck inside and never get to travel and be free to my heart's content like I want. God damn it. It's like literally fuck my life. But no, whatever. I'll be like the magician and recreate it as I see fit, recreate my reality and find a way out. So you betcha, death to the darkness. Yes, indeed. Let's see. So let's look at the fourth house some more and understand it in connection to this card. Witchy women. Wait, what? I don't get it. See how high she flies. Hang on, cookies, all right, whatever. Fourth house in astrology. Oh, wait. Is this all about the fourth house? Okay, yeah, this is a pretty substantial article on it, so let's dive into this deliciousness. The astrocodex.com. This is from the astrocodex.com. And it says, the fourth house in astrology. The fourth house in astrology is an angular one and rules everything that has to do with a person's foundations. The home, the family, the roots, and ancestors are all ruled by this nighttime house. Wait a second. I just had like a freaking epiphany because of that. So wait a minute. Think about this for a moment. Just freaking think about this. So imagine your natal chart. For those of you who are familiar with astrology, imagine your natal chart. Okay. Let's say we're using the Placidus house system. Imagine your ascendant marking your first house. Now think of how that basically squares your, I guess it would be the IC, I think, of your fourth house. Or well, regardless, your ascendant squares the beginning of your fourth house, which squares the beginning of your eighth house, which squares, or wait, am I fucking this up? Hang on. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this. Hang on, I need to see an actual astrological chart to figure this out. So, square. Oh no, okay. Your ascendant squares the beginning of your 4th house, which squares the beginning of your 7th house. I can't believe I didn't get that. Jeez, wow, do I feel dumb right now? Which then squares the beginning of your 9th house, which then squares the beginning of your 1st house again. So it all creates a freaking square, also known as a grand cross in astrology. And then you have the number 4 in the 4th house being associated with stability and foundations and indeed the square. In fact, I know I've seen that before, at least associated with the Emperor card 4 of the major arcana. So I don't know. Is that intentional or I don't know? Isn't that interesting? I think it's interesting. Just research the last name. There's a lot in the name. Wait, which name? The Dunn of Thomas Dunn. Anyway, let's see here. So again, it says the 4th house in astrology is an angular one and rules everything that has to do with the person's foundations. The home, the family, the roots, and ancestors are all ruled by this nighttime house. When a planet is positioned inside the house, it is located at the zenith, also called the Imam Coeli or IC of the ecliptic, and respectively the sun is to be found there when the person is born at midnight. All matters that have to do with domestic issues, the native's property and real estate, land, houses, or even subterranean places are expressed through this part of the zodiac. The natural ruler of this house is Cancer, and of course the moon. So wait, so when a planet is positioned inside this house, located the zenith, of course. The sun is to be found there when the person is born at midnight. Interesting. Well, then the 4th house has kind of an association with darkness to a significant extent, I tend to think of that as more 8th house matters correspondent to the sign of Scorpio, the sign of life and death and rebirth, ruled by, dark lord, unconscious and deep, dark, decaying, everything like that, Pluto. But this would seem to suggest that the 4th house also has this some element of darkness to it. It's also correspondent to a fellow water sign. I wonder if the 12th house has a lot of darkness to it. Probably does. 12th house stuff is Neptune, which Neptune talks about illusions and all that. I mean, that's fairly dark in its own way. Oh, the name Llewellyn. Yeah, I thought of that too, possibly being. I was like, which name do you mean? But Llewellyn. A good girl with the last name Llewellyn. Both got taken for a lap with a Leo. Huh. Interesting. So there's a lot to that name then. I guess it would make sense being that it ends up being that publishing company or whatever publishes all these or seems to be associated anyway with books on tarot and the occult and all that. All right, so the roots of the native's family and origin are here. The grandparents, the lineage and traditions passing from them, as well as material things that are coming from previous generations of his family. The grandfather's country house and the field are assets that do not belong to other houses expressing material possessions. They come into the native's life from the very beginning as everything which the fourth house brings. The native is growing inside them, and they become his stability. Most probably, what comes from the fourth house will continue its passage towards the heirs of the native. Okay, so this is all like a lot for me to take in, so I need to go back over it. So, hang on. Twitter's notifying me of all this stuff. So again, it says, the roots of the native's family and origin are here in the fourth house. The grandparents, the lineage and traditions passing from them, as well as material things that are coming from previous generations of his family. The grandfather's country house and the field are assets that do not belong to other houses expressing material possessions. They come into the native's life from the very beginning as everything which the fourth house brings. The native is growing inside them, and they become his stability. Most probably, what comes from the fourth house will continue its passage towards the heirs of the native. Fascinating. So there's this element of like lineage, of like inheritance, perhaps. It seems. It's interesting. Here, I'm going to clear this stuff. So the thing with Twitter and its notifications, this is completely unrelated, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've discovered it appears that clicking on the notifications that Twitter sends you just encourages them. It just encourages the algorithm to send you even more. So I have stopped myself from clicking on them as a solution, because you can't turn them off without turning off all notifications from Twitter. And, well, you can't have that, Certain people might be tweeting something, certain person in particular might be tweeting something significant, and I've got to know. It's reborn at midnight on October 31st. Fuck sakes, too much. That's when the energy came through my body, threw me to the ground, and I cried like a baby. Birth, okay, dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the fuck it was. Oh. Yeah, like a dark night of the soul experience. I feel like I'm terrified to experience something like that, even though I've already experienced many dark things in my life, within myself. But I feel like I've experienced so much, I don't want to experience anymore. October 31st, Scorpio season, correspondent to the 8th house, death and rebirth. A lot of situations and facts that the fourth house brings in one's life happen in his early years and thus are irreversible. Also, because the house signifies the stable foundations of the chart owner, any change happening due to transiting planets can have permanent effect of change, because it is altering the basic structure of the individual's reality. Hang on, this stuff is it's too much for me. We're going to have to go back over it. But, well, Pluto has been transiting my fourth house for forever. And that's of course also my sun sign Capricorn. Maybe that's why my life has just been absolutely insane since the end of 2008. End of 2008. In fact, December 2008, I actually met like the Dark Lord himself, you could say, or one of the darkest, most disturbing people that I've ever met in my life in December 2008. Talk about Pluto and fear and all of that. But that's another story I'll have to maybe tell sometime. Actually, I did tell it a very, very, very long time ago on this channel. But yeah, that's interesting. Right as Pluto entered my sign of Capricorn, it was like I met Pluto in person. It was very terrifying. Very terrifying. But then I beat him in court, so that's what really matters. All right, where were we? Okay, let's see. So usually the characteristics of his reality that change are external, as other houses like the first are governing the person's internal issues. Okay. So let's go back over that paragraph, because this is blowing my fucking mind. Like, this is nuts. Like, I need to look at this stuff more often. I did not know these things about the fourth house. All right. So a lot of situations and facts that the fourth house brings in one's life happen in his early years and thus are irreversible. Also, because the house signifies the stable foundations of the chart owner, any change happening due to transiting planets can have permanent effect of change. Well, Pluto's already permanent. Pluto's already once in a lifetime transformation. Pluto transits a point in your chart, you are changed forevermore. Trust me, believe me. Oh my God. Permanent effect of change because it is altering the basic structure of the individual's reality. Consider that. Usually, the characteristics of his reality that change are external, as other houses like the first are governing the person's internal issues. But what does that actually mean? Usually, the characteristics of his reality that change are external, as other houses like the first are governing the person's internal issues. Oh, okay. I guess I get that now. I just had to reread it a couple times. Oh, here we go. Uranus or Pluto, for example, transiting through the house would radically alter even the place of residence, most of the times with a permanent effect. Yeah, I wish. Malefic planets adversely aspected signify a difficult childhood with a lot of suffering and usually broken family bonds, while benefics give a bright early childhood and the native is surrounded by positive influences. The person's early years are a shiny period. He feels protected and can, from his young age, begin to flourish as a personality, reflecting the positive vibrations that he receives as a sponge from the moment he is born. Lucky individuals. So again, that says Uranus or Pluto, for example, transiting through the house would radically alter even the place of residence most of the times with a permanent effect. Malefic planets adversely aspected signify a difficult childhood with a lot of suffering and usually broken family bonds, while benefics give a bright early childhood and the native is surrounded by positive influences. The person's early years are a shiny period. He feels protected and can, from his young age, begin to flourish his personality, reflecting the positive vibrations he receives as a sponge from the moment he is born. So what does this actually mean, though? Malefic planets adversely aspected signify a difficult childhood. Like, aspected from the fourth house? I guess that's what they're saying. Huh. I'll have to look at my chart later and figure this out. You're damn Skippy. Wait, what? What do you mean I'm Skippy? There are different approaches about which parent the house represents. The astrological community cannot quite agree whether the mother or the father are to be seen through the fourth house, but the answer is probably something not concerning the gender of the parent. The fourth house is ruling the native's early childhood, so the parent who is more near to the child is to be ruled by the house. Thus, most of the times, the mother and her relationship to the chart owner can be observed through the planets positioned in the house and the aspects they form. The mother and her relationship to the chart owner can be observed through the planets positioned in the house and the aspects they form. That's interesting. Did you guys get that? Like, I know that sounds a little complicated, but try to take that in. This is interesting. Most of the time, the mother and her relationship to the chart owner can be observed through the planets positioned in the house, the fourth house, and the aspects they form. So in other words, the fourth house planets and the fourth house aspects will literally give a window into the mother of that person, the person whose chart you're looking at. Unless that person had their father really, really close to them throughout much of their childhood, much closer than the mother, then it would theoretically be the father. So, yeah, if you ever want a window into someone's closest parent and most likely their mother look at their fourth house and look at the planets in it and aspected in it. So that'll give you some revelations. Living in your car is definitely a change of residence, not a good beginning either, to say the least. It's bound to change in my favor eventually. I've seen mess with the wrong two women. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to live in my car either. But I mean, I've been bound to this house since well before 2008. That's for damn sure. Which is weird because when Pluto was transiting my third house, that's actually when I changed residences at least a couple of times. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. There's probably a lot of factors involved, but ever since Pluto entered my fourth house, I mean, there's been all kinds of, I think it's like transformation through experiences with the home and immediate environment, basically. I think that's a big aspect of it for me, but I don't know. That's just my theory. All right, what else do we have here? On the contrary, the dominant parent, the one usually working and away from home, is ruled by the 10th house. So there you go. You want to find that information out by that, look to the 10th house of a person's chart. The more close a planet is located to the cusp of the fourth house, the more deep its story goes into the roots of the individual's existence. Literally, the cusp also rules the graves of the ancestors, while also reveals some information about karma that comes as a baggage of the chart owner in this incarnation. Okay, I am sorry, you guys. I have got to look at my freaking chart right here, right now, because this is too damn interesting. Hang on one moment. Let's see. My fourth house begins at 247 of Capricorn. My Uranus is at 6.3 of Capricorn. That's really close to the cusp. And this is saying the more close the planet is located to the cusp of the fourth house, the more deep its story goes into the roots of the individual's existence. Yeah. And look at Uranus. What is Uranus? Different, unique, sudden, shocking, unexpected, weird, innovative, kind of like the mad scientist or mad genius or whatever. And I've been, unique and different and crazy all my life. And then it says, the cusp also rules the graves of the ancestors, while also reveals some information about karma that comes as a baggage of the chart owner in this incarnation. So if you want to accept the idea of karma in this incarnation, I have Uranian karma. I have karma having to do with that which is sudden, shocking, unexpected, revelatory, freedom fighting, rebellious, individualistic, innovative, scientific genius, all this stuff. So let's continue. The fourth house is also responsible for the collective karma of the native's lineage and influences that his ancestors' actions have on the whole family. Here are to be seen karmic debts of the family to be paid towards others, and the contrary also. I don't know. Like, how do I know that I didn't just come into this incarnation, without karma, though? Like, who says that I had karma to begin with? What if I didn't come in with any karma? What if I came straight from source or God or whatever? Did I do that? But at this point, I'm sure I've got lots of karma because I'm pissed as fuck at a bunch of rotten bitches that have fucked me up in this life, and I want to get, I want some kind of, how should I say this? Peaceful justice to be done. Peaceful, non-violent justice. Peaceful justice to be done. which usually means exposure of the information, if not outright confrontation with such individuals. No one was home at my house, so take no reference. Huh. Okay, an event again. Only one home at my house was a child molester. Oh, burn. Coming full circle. It feels good to get this off my chest. Oh, geez. Only one home at your house was a child molester. Well, that really sucks that there was any child molester at all there, but feels good to get it off your chest. Well, at least you can do that. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a lot of things that I want to get off my chest. Say that my ancestors are pretty fucking pissed off. Yeah, I wonder how mine are. That would be interesting. I never really consider stuff like that much. All right. So let's continue. In addition, the fourth house rules magical powers passing as a blessing or curse from elder generations. The powers represented here are those that are inherited from parents and grandparents. Well, apparently I've got a lot of magical powers then, because again, I've got so much fourth house activity. It's insane. Blessings and curses that follow the native's bloodline and every occult ability which is not gained by exercise, reading, and conscious efforts. Damn. These could extend in very deep levels and follow the family many generations backwards and forward. I wouldn't be surprised if I've inherited some stuff. Like, I don't know. When I look at my life, and again, I don't want to make this all about me, but well, this is my stream. When I look at my life and just my predispositions and inclinations and like natural inherent abilities and interests, I mean, I have been fascinated with the occult since probably like the day I was born. And of course, I also have an 8th house moon. And I mean, dear God, if you have the moon in the 8th house, you're almost certainly going to be drawn to the occult and things like that. I mean, like you're deep into that kind of stuff. But this is the 4th house, and it's also talking about this stuff. I mean, my God, this is so interesting. Like, this is nuts. So let's go back over that again, because that's very significant. In addition, the 4th house rules magical powers passing as a blessing or curse from elder generations. The powers represented here are those that are inherited from parents and grandparents, blessings and curses that follow the native's bloodline and every occult ability which is not gained by exercise, reading, and conscious efforts. These could extend in very deep levels and follow the family many generations backwards and forward. That is deeply fascinating. Everything ruled by the 4th house is integrated with the material domestic assets, bricks, land, and shapes our personal place. It is the place where we return to sleep to nurture ourselves and feel safe. Both literally and metaphorically, it is the shell where the pearl of our existence resides, whatever we call and feel home, even if we do not have one. And remember, that's all connected to the 4 of Wands card and its 4th house links. So, wow, that is so interesting. I mean, that is, damn. If we have more time later, we are so going to look up more information about the 4th house in the stream. But that does indeed conclude that article on this website. So now If I'm not mistaken, I believe it is time for the Complete Book of Tarot Reversals entry on this card. The buck stops here. LOL, I feel the same way. What a coincidence. That's interesting. Well, we are drawn by those similar vibrations, similar frequencies. All right, you guys, I have so many books open right now on my computer. Where are we here? Complete Book of Tarot Reversals. Here we go. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Four of Wands. Just as the 3 signifies departure, the 4 of Wands indicates arrival or homecoming. This card usually shows a celebration marking the completion of a phase or of a season and its labors. A work is perfected and the fruits harvested. There is a culmination of efforts and a sense of solid achievement. You may celebrate these moments with ceremonial rites of passage such as engagements, marriages, graduations, commencements, reunions, parties, and awards, banquets at conventions or convocations. You could consolidate personal ties and establish alliances, reaffirm bonding, or return to familial roots. On the other hand, you might be negotiating agreement among opposing factions in order to restore harmony and balance. Perhaps you are encouraging or heartening others for an upcoming task. This card can also signify seasonal rites or weekend workshops. You may be enjoying a stay in the country or other vacation retreat. There could be rest and relaxation, pleasure, social concord, and happiness. Alternatively, you are involved in the purchase of property or otherwise establishing a firm base for future growth. As you prepare to move on to a new experience, you might pause to give thanks for all you have received thus far. Traditional meanings: society, alliance, community, reunion, gathering, party, convivial gatherings. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. Convivial gatherings, stay in the country, convention, pact, treaty, unexpected occasion, small reward, relaxation after achievement, strength, prosperity, fruit of labors. All right. So, yeah, what the hell does convivial mean? Let's look that shit up. Hang on a second. Convivial. It means of an atmosphere or event, friendly, lively, and enjoyable. Of a person, cheerful and friendly and jovial. All right. So friendly, lively, and enjoyable. Convivial gatherings. And now for the 4 of Wands reversed. Traditionally, the 4 of Wands reversed is unaltered from the upright. Generally, people are still happy, and life is working to your advantage, although you may have forgotten to be grateful for this. Blocks or resistance to family and school reunions and convention banquets are reminiscent of the ambivalence most of us feel about them. You may want to see everyone, but at the same time, fear the incompatibilities and dread the social niceties. Your own insecurities and inhibitions may surface, or you may be uncomfortably aware of what tarnished lives lurk below the surface. This card can also disrupt conventionality. Perhaps there is something lacking in your own pleasure on such occasions. Ugh, the fatigue is getting to me. You may find yourself projecting perfect happiness onto others and suppose you are the only one left out. If you have been attending a gratifying workshop or gathering, you could be apprehensive about your leave taking in return to normal life. This can be the sad, happy moment when members of family or group go their own way. There can be breaches in what seemed complete. Rites of passage could be disquieting or atypical, like an unsanctioned marriage. It might also be time to leave or sell the family home. This card can also represent the mishaps and flubs at social occasions that are more humorous than devastating. At work, you can become too sociable or be afraid of upsetting the good times to the detriment of business. When projected onto others, you may see them as part of an extended family or as benefactors. Health-wise, it suggests a return to good health or the success of birth or medical procedures. In a shamanic and magical context, this a major card. It's supposed to say this is a major card, whatever. Major cards signifying rites of passage, which, as one of their fundamental goals, serve a civilizing or spiritualizing purpose. In spirit journeys, it represents the chants, drums, and prayers of assistants who help you return safely from the underworld. Traditional reversed meanings: prosperity, success, beauty, happiness, pleasure, romance, solid basis, flourishing, advantage, advancement, beauty, embellishment, incomplete happiness, lack in pleasure, tarnished beauty. That is so interesting. So as we have seen here, as we've gone throughout these various meanings, there actually does appear to be something to this idea that the Four of Wands reversed is basically still very much a happy, positive, harmonious card, indicative of stuff like that. I would still say not always, indeed, not always, but it's not total like whitewash, it's not total candy coating, it's not total telling you what you want to hear kind of stuff or thinking. There's actually literally something to it because of the energy, the nature of the card. That's interesting. Well, I stand partially corrected, I guess. All right. So now it's time, after having looked at the Rider-Waite version a hell of a lot and other stuff, and not so much the Thoth specifically, it's time to look at the Thoth version specifically again. So let's see, Four of Wands Thoth. Let's burn and observe. Let's dig in. Corax.com. Okay, if I can just zoom in on this properly. Let's see. Four of Wands, completion. Tree of Life, Chesed through fire, astrology, Venus in the third decan of Aries. The Four of Wands represents Chesed, the power of condensation, growth, and stability. Standing in the structural discipline of the Four, the work is done, the plan was successful, the fire has settled and reigns over its realms. Fire is the element that stands for Atziluth, the world closest to divinity. And though the card might talk of every possible endeavor, a job, a relationship, and intellectual research, it is most likely aiming at something more spiritual. This explains the upcoming of the card in such seemingly inappropriate situations, like big family troubles or failed business projects. Hereby, the card shows us that we've learned a lesson and that the failure in the quote-unquote profane world was just what we needed to achieve more spiritual maturity. After the word drive, underlined, it says perfection, rest after labor, completion after effort and trouble, structure, control. After the word light, underlined, it says completion, well-earned rewards, rest after labor. After the word shadow, underlined, it says overestimation, torpidity, loss of tranquility. Fascinating. So in connection with that, let's also look at the article on angelpaths.com about it, since that one was very short and sweet, and so is this. Let's experience this indulgence. The Four of Wands, the Lord of Completion, marks a point where a circle has been completed. It can apply to work projects, personal situations, even phases of life. In some respects, it's like a lesser reflection of the universe, the final major arcana card. Wait, let me process this. Marks the point where a circle has been completed. It can apply to work projects, personal situations, phases of life. In some respects, it's like a lesser reflection of the universe. Card 21 of the major arcana, the final major arcana card. Huh. This site is saying that the Four of Wands is like a lesser reflection of the universe card. Isn't that interesting? Another aspect of the Four of Wands associated with the major arcanum of adjustment or justice. This is because this wand indicates the manifestation of balanced forces, resulting in the fulfillment of earlier hopes, ideas, and dreams. The balance aspect, combined with the overall morality of wands, brings us to think about injustice being resolved, inequity acknowledged and set right. So wait, this is because this wand indicates the manifestation of balanced forces, resulting in the fulfillment of earlier hopes, ideas, and dreams. The balance aspect, combined with the overall morality of wands, brings us to think about injustice being resolved, inequity acknowledged, and set right. Isn't that fascinating? This is a good card, promising not only the sense of natural satisfaction which arises when we follow our ideas through to their logical conclusion, but also the opportunity to start new things off. If we stop when we have achieved a goal along the way, we begin to stagnate. We need to take the sense of contentment and channel it into the stage on our journey. That way, we continually grow. So there's that idea again that we continue to come across. That we have to be careful not to stagnate when we come to this card. We got to keep following our joy, following our bliss, following our excitement, following our dreams. Following what feels good to us. Now, working with the Four of Wands. The Lord of Completion has two separate and yet closely interlinked effects. The inner and more complex matter that this card rules is that of the establishment of right order. When things are balanced in life, they flow more easily. When apparently contradictory forces come into equilibrium, the powers inherent in each is available to be utilized to their fullest degree. As a result, when this state of balance is achieved, we become very effective in any area to which we apply ourselves. There is no time wasting, inner conflict, nor indecision. We can simply direct our energies in a single-minded and competent fashion. So let me make sure I get this. The inner and more complex matter that this card rules is that of the establishment of right order. When things are balanced in life, they flow more easily. When apparently contradictory forces come into equilibrium, the powers inherent in each is available to be utilized to their fullest degree. As a result, when the state of balance is achieved, we become very effective in any area to which we apply ourselves. There is no time wasting, inner conflict, nor indecision. We can simply direct our energies in a single-minded and competent fashion. From this inner effect arises the more common definition of the Four of Wands, that of completing cycles, finishing projects, achieving new stages of development and insight. This is because we have been able to isolate and prioritize those things which we see as most important. So on a day ruled by the Lord of Completion, aim to finish up any outstanding matters, freeing yourself to move into new challenges. You should find yourself very efficient and single-minded. Use this clarity to your best possible advantage. The sense of satisfaction you derive will be immensely valuable to you. Also attempt to define where you want to go next, whether in a personal or a professional sense, so that you can, in days to come, set new targets and goals. Affirmation. From completion comes renewal. Interesting stuff. From completion comes renewal. So next, we're going to look at what the number 4 means in numerology. Let's see what we can find on that. Now, we just reached 3 hours in, so let me take just a little intermission. A very short one indeed, do not worry. There really is just so much to this card. More than I was expecting, I think, probably. But actually and honestly, when you start looking at the astrological stuff and the houses and the numerology, like, there's more stuff to all of these cards, you know. There's more stuff to all of them. So, I don't know, next year or whenever they're... Yeah, I guess it would probably be next year if we get to this next year and we go back around and look at the cards that we looked at recently again. You know, the cards that we've already looked at, when we look at them again, have to be sure then to look at stuff like that, which that's why I'm planning on eventually going back through all these again, every single card of the tarot, because there's so much more to learn. Or like by then we will have figured out so many more things to look at and study about them. You know, we'll just be 1,000 times more sophisticated. So the journey of knowledge never really ends. All right, so 4 in numerology. See what we can find. Okay, the first source that came up is absolutesoulsecrets.com. Let's see what they have to say. Four in numerology. Number 4 people have been known to seek the security of home and family. They can be quite intellectual and excel at analyzing situations. Often their minds are very active and they need to practice relaxation techniques and spontaneity. They tend to have so many great ideas in their heads that sometimes they don't get them out into the physical world. Number 4s like to be organized and methodical, and they like to put things back in their proper place. That's proper place in quotes. If for some reason a number 4 is disorganized, then this is a sign that person is off track in life. Number 4s like stability and structure in most things they do. Having fun may need to be learnt and practiced. If you're going into a 4 year, it will be a year of hard but successful work. Great for building on pre-existing plans or projects you have already commenced. Just don't overdo it, and remember your loved ones will want some time with you. It's not just all about work. If you're unemployed or dissatisfied in your work, you will have energy for a new job. People often build/buy homes during this time. Huh. And that's it for that site. Yeah, 4s in numerology are very much strongly associated with like hard work and discipline, I found. All right. Obviously that's too short to be sufficient. So next up is numerology.com, the meaning of 4. The numerology meaning of the number 4, the salt of the earth, by Hans Dekaz. Positive characteristics. 4s are disciplined, strong, stable, pragmatic, down to earth, reliable, dependable, hardworking, extracting, precise, methodical, conscientious, frugal, devoted, patriotic, and trustworthy. Negative characteristics. 4s pay for their stability and pragmatism by tending toward the boring side. This may express itself with a lack of imagination, emotions, empathy. 4s may not bother to put much care into their appearance, and their social awkwardness can make them seem vulgar, crude, or jealous. Associated in astrology with Aries, associated in tarot with the Emperor. Yes, indeed. So with me is like not only am I Sun conjunct Saturn in Capricorn, but I've also got all that 4th house activity. It's probably why I've before I sort of woke up to the, I don't know, deception of it all, like naturally in my life, in the early years in my life, I was so drawn to the idea of hard work and discipline. I mean, my God, I was so disciplined. I just worked myself into exhaustion. It was just insane. I just gave it all up. It was so nuts. But yeah, if you have like, I would say if you have a lot of 4th house activity or like your life number is 4 or whatever, yeah, you may be a hard worker and you may need to learn to let that go to a large extent and let your hard work come from following your bliss, following your joy, following your excitement. Let that be where your hard work comes from. Hang on. See if we can find something better here. Oh, here we go. Numerologystars.com. This looks promising, I think. Huh. Maybe I should show the simplified view. One moment. Oh, this is so much better for reading. Okay. Number 4. 4 in numerology. Numerology number 4. Jeez, they're repetitious. Whatever. Number 4 in numerology represents Uranus, the planet associated with the sun, and the number 1 and the occult are marked as follows: 4, 1. Number 4 people have a peculiar character. They seem to be looking at everything from the opposite point of view. All disputes and discussions, they hold the opposite position, and although they do not want to become a wrangler, but from his opposition, and thus gain a lot of secret enemies who constantly work against them. That sentence literally makes no sense, but whatever. I don't know what they're trying to say then. The number of people instinctively rebel against the rules and customs. And if they succeed in achieving their own, they break the routine, even in society and government. They often rebel against the authority of the Constitution and the creation of new rules. They are linked by social issues and all kinds of reforms, and they are stubbornly sticks to his point of view. Wait, is this, hang on, did this just get fucked up from the... No, that's literally what it says. Oh, geez. Anyway, whatever. Here we go. The main characteristic of these people, the mind and pessimism, they usually pass a brilliant academic career. It is very attentive and well-learning education. Resisting the urge to make a joke here about this site. They are very effective and a good staff, but a special dedication show. Original mind helps to work systematically and methodically without chaotic. Dear God, this site is so bad. They're not aggressive and very rarely quarreled. These people are wasteful. The money they are equally easy to come and go. It looks like someone just took like a fucking like translation site and like plugged something in another language into it and had it translated to English. Like this is literally that bad. I wouldn't be surprised if someone actually did do that, but whatever. We're already here. Let's keep going. We're getting good information. It's just in very weird and often indecipherable verbiage, or somewhat indecipherable. But you know, we're all about cracking the mystery anyway. Emotional characteristics of number 4. Number 4 in numerology does not belong to those who fall in love easily, but if this happens, then all his life. Such people are loyal and not obligation, but because they are hard to come, fall in love. They are characterized by medium sexual appetite, but these people can never be described as weak. Their sexual requirements are moderate, and finding a partner to them is particularly challenging. At the same time, by nature, they are really pessimists and constantly indulge in grief. It suppresses the others because it is difficult to live next to the pessimists and unsafe for humans. These two properties lead to very unpleasant emotions. At green-eyed monster, jealousy. Since these people are not really believe in themselves, they keep smiling, but if not, become sharply and irritable. Despite it all, they feel good when someone is nearby to support them. Huh, wow, damn. Sounds so intense. I'm glad. I mean, no offense to any number 4 people out there, but I guess I'm kind of glad that I'm not a number 4 based on how they're describing them, you know? Like, my life number is 7. I'm a number 7 person. Negative characteristics of number 4 people. Although the number 4 people have many positive qualities, they are rarely life-making a great success because of his pessimism. It all damages. This just keeps getting better and better. They often miss out on great opportunities because not enough confident in yourself, and in each case, trying to discern the dark side. They are not all the forces trying to use cases, but generally do not do anything because it believes that so and so nothing will come. They lack the power to fight setbacks and not to suffer defeat. They will generally not take anything. Number 4 in numerology is a waster. These people do not know how to save and needy, feeling very depressed. If you cannot find the funds to cover their expenses, this in turn would provide the even greater disappointment and disbelief in his rise. All right, how much longer is this? You know, I think we're done with this site. Because, I mean, this is just completely fucked up. Like, you know, get your shit together. Don't be posting, you know, this kind of, you know, half-assed crap on the internet. Let's look up number 4 symbolism. Maybe that'll get us something better, because this is all like life path this and life number that. You know, what about the number 4 itself? You know, enough of this narcissistic crap. You know, enough of this narcissism. Ridingthebeast.com is what came up first. All right, let's see what we've got. Oh, wait, I think this might be like a religious fanatic website. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know what this is. We're not going to look at this. Mysticalnumbers.com, number 4 symbolism, number 4. Okay, let's check it out. Mysticalnumbers.com. Number 4, meaning of number 4. Number 4 is the number of stability, order, and completion of justice. Number 4 is the number of the earth and mankind. Number 4 is the number of the square. Number 4 symbolizes building a strong foundation. There are 4 cardinal points: north, south, east, west. There are 4 winds. There are 4 phases of the moon. There are 4 seasons. In the west, we have 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water. Number 4, a perfect number. The Pythagoreans believed the number 4, the tetrad, was a perfect number. They taught that the tetrad symbolized God. In Pythagorean philosophy, there are 4 parts to the soul: mind, opinion, science, sense. The 4-leaf clover. The 4-leaf clover is believed to bring luck to the finder, especially if it is found unexpectedly. Each of the 4 leaves symbolizes something special: hope, faith, love, luck. And luck, I have heard, we're really going to branch out some shit here. Luck, I have heard, is associated with Lucifer. And you have the, similar sounds at the beginning of Lucifer, luck, Lucifer, Lucifer, luck, the luck of Lucifer. And Lucifer is associated with the planet Venus. I think it's Latin for Venus, if I'm not mistaken. Venus, the morning star. And what was the astrological correspondence of the 4 of Wands card? None other than Venus in Aries. Venus in Aries. So Lucifer in Aries. Luck in Aries. The 4-leaf clover in Aries. Anniversary. The 4th year anniversary is traditionally celebrated with fruits and flowers in the Western world. Huh. That's funny. I've never heard of that before. The 4th year anniversary. I'll think about this for 4 years. I'll think about this 4 years. 4 years. Astrology and the tarot. Cancer is the 4th astrological sign, June 22nd through July 22nd. Number 4 is the number of Mars. Number 4 is lucky for Leo and Scorpio. In the tarot, the number 4 is the card of the Emperor. Yes, indeed. For more information on that, you can check out the stream I did on that live on my channel under the Tarot Card Analysis Major Arcana series playlist. Hang on. It's getting brighter. I wonder if we can just change this lighting. Is this better? We're good to go. Yeah, I think this is better now that it's brighter out at this time in the day. Plus, sun's supposed to come out today, this afternoon. That would be ideal. Freaking better, 4 of Wands and all that. Gotta get the right vibe. The Emperor represents material goods and worldly authority. Reversed, it means immaturity. Well, there's a hell of a lot more to it than that. Again, check out my stream on the Emperor, or do your own research on the Emperor if you don't have the patience for that or whatever. Tetraphobia. Tetraphobia, or the fear of number 4, is common in East Asia. Huh. You may especially notice tetraphobia in China, Japan, and Taiwan. I wonder if that has anything to do with this idea, particularly in like feng shui, that any kind of like corners or like pointed things are bad for you, and the energy flows much better when stuff is rounded, because feng shui, I believe that is an ancient Chinese practice. And it says, may especially notice tetraphobia in China, and then Japan and Taiwan, but yeah, China being a place where it's common. So I wonder if there's a connection there. In these countries, 4 is pronounced the same as the word for death, she. Card 13, the she card. Huh. Wait a minute. Does that have anything to do with the Shimigami in Death Note, I wonder? Shimigami, isn't that what they're called? The gods of death. Ryuk and all that. Anyway, let's see. Perhaps I'll figure that out at some point. Many apartment and business buildings, hospitals, and hotels will skip the room in floor number 4. Huh. The same goes for the industry and their military vessels. Well, here in the West, I guess, a lot of places skip the number 13. The number 13 is believed to be unlucky. And isn't it weird that 13, 1 plus 3 equals 4? That's really funny to me. When visiting, never give a present made up of 4 pieces. For example, never give 4 flowers. That would be a huge insult. Damn. Well, this stream currently has 4 likes. Goddamn, someone new needs to come in here and give this stream a like, because we have a like number of death right now. This is not good. Pueblo people. The number 4 is sacred to the Pueblo people. The Zia Pueblo sun symbol is used on the flag of New Mexico, USA. Oh, okay, so never mind. Maybe we're okay with the number 4. So to the Pueblo people, the number 4 is sacred. Okay. Well, that's okay then. The 4 sets of 4 strips symbolizes 4 seasons, 4 directions, 4 corners of the earth, 4 elements. All right, well, I mean, I'd show the little picture that they show, but I don't want to fuck with the lighting again. I'm sorry. Book of Gates. In the Book of Gates, humans are divided into 4 different races: Egyptian, Asiatic, Libyan, Nubian. The 4 castes in India. In India, there were 4 different castes or classes. Almost every person belonged to one of the 4 castes. This was determined by birth. You always belonged to the caste of your parents. Some people were so unfortunate they did not belong to any caste. They were known as the untouchables. Today they are called the Dalits. Not sure if I'm saying that correctly. There were strict rules for what each caste could or could not do. Each caste also had many subcastes. Even though the government now has outlawed the caste system, it is still practiced in many parts of India. Being a vital part of the society of India for over 2,000 years, it has proven to take time to change the way of life and thinking. The 4 castes are Brahmins, priests, scholars, and philosophers; Kshatriyas or Satriyas, or I have no idea how to say that, but warriors and rulers; Vaishyas, traders, merchants, and farmers. Sudras, laborers and servants. That's interesting. Four thieves vinegar. Four thieves vinegar was a secret herb mix believed to be consumed by thieves during the plague in France. These herbs were said to be the reason thieves could rob the sick and dead without getting sick themselves. The four herbs were thyme, lavender, sage, and rosemary. So those were the herbs. London burned. The London fire lasted 4 days. It started on September 2nd, 1666, on Pudding Lane in the house of the King's baker. Those are good numbers, I hope. September 2nd, 2005 is when I discovered the true power of poetry. That's interesting. Of course, it is like a sort of spiritual fire, purification, spiritual fire, like the Judgment, also known as the Eon card in tarot. The fire of that card 20, 2 plus 0 is 2, September 2nd. Now we have 2s coming in, the purification of spiritual fire, the alchemy of that. Over 13,000 houses burned down and almost 90% of the city's population lost their homes. Dear God. Wow. I'd like to see the astrological data for those days. September 2nd, that was interesting. Yep, September 2nd. September 2nd, 2005 holds deep significance for me. The day I consciously discovered alchemy. Although really I discovered it years before that. Though even then I still didn't know what it was. To be hung, drawn, and quartered. Oh boy. To be hung, drawn, and quartered was the full punishment for high treason in medieval England. The condemned prisoner was sentenced to be dragged on a wooden frame to the place of execution, drawn, be hanged by the neck until almost dead, hung, be beheaded and divided into 4 parts, quartered. Oh, wait, so dragged on a wooden frame to the place of execution, drawn, hanged by the neck until almost dead, hung, be beheaded and divided into 4 parts, quartered. Wow, medieval England was one fucked up place, it sounds like. Holy shit. I mean, I don't know, maybe they really deserved it, but does anyone deserve that? Holds much significance for me too. Isn't that fascinating? September 2nd, so that's Virgo season, interestingly enough. My discovery of the true power of poetry is a Virgo. My poetic ability is Virgoan. Isn't that fascinating? Has that laser precision. So then it shows a little picture here with a sign, and it says, Fullers, the hung, drawn, and quartered. I went to see Major General Harrison, hung, drawn, and quartered. He was looking as cheerful as any man could in that condition. Samuel Pepys, 13th October, 1660. Wow, okay. Edward Despard was the last person to be sentenced to be hung, drawn, and quartered on February 21st, 1803. Picture of a sign outside the hung, drawn, and quartered pub in Tower Hill, London. That's what I just read, I guess. So wait, after we look at the number 4 here, once we're done doing that, I guess we just need to look at the Book of Thoth entry on this, and then we're done. Yeah, I can really only stay here for another 16 minutes, then I have to go have dinner. So, limitations and all that, but whatever. Let's do what we can while we still have time. Round churches in England. There are only 4 round churches to be found in England. 1. Temple Church in London. 2. The Round Church of St. Andrew the Great in Cambridge. 3. The Holy Sepulchre in Northampton. 4. Church of St. John the Baptist in Little Maplestead, Essex. 4th President. James Madison was the 4th President of the United States, 1809 to 1817. He was the principal author of the U.S. Constitution. Madison was only 5 feet 4 tall. His wife, Dolly Todd, was 17 years younger. He owned a tobacco plantation in Virginia and had many slaves. That's mean. He had slaves. Jeez, I understand it was the times, but ye gods. Doesn't change the fact that it is wrong. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. Presidents murdered. 4 U.S. presidents have been killed in office. 1. Abraham Lincoln, April 15th, 1865. 2. James A. Garfield, September 19th, 1881. 3. William McKinley, September 14th, 1901. 4. John F. Kennedy, November 22nd, 1963. Jeez. This is so weird. We keep coming across these indicators that the number 4 is in a very subtle and like hidden way associated with death. Like the 4, for all of its other stuff that it can also mean death. And hell, even the death card in tarot, card 13, 1 plus 3 does equal 4. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Our American Cousin, that's a play he was watching, just a side note. Oh, really? With Abraham Lincoln? Huh. Interesting. I think that was Abraham Lincoln anyway. Yeah. Huh, fascinating. July 4th is Independence Day. Independence Day in the United States. 56 delegates signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. And so isn't that interesting? On the 4 of Wands, we've come across this idea of freedom at times associated with it. Well, maybe freedom should be even more associated with it because of July 4th, 4th of July, Independence Day. Declare independence. So, 2 presidents died on July 4th, 1826. Isn't that weird? So here's the death theme again. John Adams, 2nd president of the U.S., and Thomas Jefferson, 3rd president of the U.S., both died on the very same day. James Monroe, 5th president of the U.S., died July 4th, 1831. They beat up that day last year. Oh no. Sorry, Dave. Not trying to be a downer. No, it's all right. Don't apologize. I peed my pants. I was drunk by my hair up the driveway. Oh my god, that's terrible. Oh my god. I can't even imagine like the like fucking emotional and physical trauma of that. So like on July 4th, in other words. Huh. Damn, that sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you. Stuff like that I just absolutely cannot stand. Well, still in court for it. I'm good that you've taken them to court or whatever. Wait, he is rich. He got off. And That's not good. Jeez. It's amazing how like disconnected a person has to be and how many people are so disconnected from parts of themselves to be able to inflict such pain on another human being, because you can't do that unless you've already like murdered yourself basically. It's like there's a bunch of fucked up people in this world, you know. We gotta stabilize the human race. A quatrain. A quatrain is a poem or stanza made up of 4 lines. The book The Prophecies by Nostradamus, 1503 to 1566, contains 941 rhymed quatrains. All right, let's see. Is that it for this site? Oh my god, I'm so tired. Oh, there's a comment here, but whatever. Let's just proceed now to the Book of Thoth. My tablet is down to 27% battery life, finally, after all these hours of operation. All right. Okay. Oh boy, I've spent a long time on this 3 of Wands card, you know, or I mean 4 of Wands. Oh my god, I'm really out of it now. This 4 of Wands card, of course, we had part 1 earlier as well, hour and a half, but there's just so much to it, and there's just so much to uncover and discover and figure out. I mean, I'd spend even more time on it if I could. Maybe I will eventually, who knows? But for now, let's pull up the Book of Thoth, 4 of Wands. All right, here we go. Let me just see how long this is. Oh, it's not long at all. Okay. Completion, 4 of Wands. This card refers to Chesed in the suit of fire. Being below the abyss, it is the lord of all manifested active power. The original will of the 2 has been transmitted through the 3 and is now built up into a solid system: order, law, government. It is also referred to Venus in Aries, which indicates that one cannot establish one's work without tact and gentleness. So wait, let's go back over that. So this card refers to Chesed in the suit of fire. Being below the abyss, it is the lord of all manifested active power. The original will of the 2 has been transmitted through the 3 and is now built up into a solid system. Being below the abyss, it is the lord of all manifested active power. Yeah, the abyss and the tree of life. The original will of the 2 has been transmitted through the 3 and is now built up into a solid system: order, law, government. That's interesting. It is also referred to Venus in Aries. Hang on a second. I feel like the sun might be trying to come out. But yeah, it is also referred to Venus in Aries, which indicates that one cannot establish one's work without tact and gentleness. The wands are headed by the ram, sacred to Chesed, the father god Amun-Ra, as also to Aries, but at the other end of the wands are the doves of Venus. In the symbol, the ends of the wands touch a circle, showing the completion and limitation of the original work. In the symbol, the ends of the wands touch a circle, showing the completion and limitation of the original work. Okay, the circle around them. Right. It is within this circle that the flames, 4 double as if to assert the balance, of the energy are seen to play. and there is no intention to increase the scope of the original will. But this limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder. That's all it says. So, hang on. So, it is within this circle that the flames, four double as if to assert the balance of the energy, are seen to play, and there is no intention to increase the scope of the original will. But this limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder. And so what he's talking about, of course, are is the circle that we see, the yellow circle, and then the flames within the circle. In this idea of balance. So the will from the Two of Wands is not taken further, but, how did he put it? Hang on. But this limitation bears in itself the seeds of disorder. In other words, again, said this multiple times, but one last time, you can't just let this be the completion forevermore. You can't just let yourself stagnate in this place. You have to, sooner or later, preferably sooner, probably, continue to reach for more, to expand, to go with your expansion, go with the new idea, go with the new desire, follow your bliss. And so it all comes back to that, as usual, as basically always. And in these streams, I want to emphasize that so much because, in my opinion, that's about some of the best advice you can ever possibly give anyone, is to follow your excitement, follow your bliss, do what excites you, do what brings you joy. That's your path. So, all right, with 3 minutes to spare, we're done at last. I know I wanted to look more at the fourth house a bit, but we're out of time. We covered that thoroughly anyway. The Four of Wands, I feel like I have a much deeper, better grasp and understanding of it now. And I hope those of you watching and who do watch this when it's not live do as well. Just remember also, though, that in addition to all of the stuff that we learn and study together, about these cards, that anything that comes to your mind intuitively, whether in a reading or just about the Four of Wands or any card in general, should be considered as a potential meaning for the card. Yes, I'm all for adhering to the official traditional meanings of the cards. They are what they are for a reason, I believe. But I also believe that whatever these cards and their images and whatnot spark in your consciousness is significant, and that happens for a reason. And so, my advice, my suggestion is, indeed, feel free to give your own flavor to these cards. Make it personal, make it unique, make it your own unique art. So that's what I have to say. Thanks, dear. You're so welcome, Lumen. Thank you for being here and for always supporting me so much. I really appreciate it. And thanks again for that email and password so I can watch Game of Thrones. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be really cool. Hopefully I can watch it on my home theater system. If not, I'm sure I'll still watch it. So with that said, I doubt I'll be back today because this is like the end of the day for me because of where my sleeping patterns are. But who knows, if I get a burst of energy, maybe I'll come back later and we'll do another stream. I don't know what kind of stream yet, but who knows, maybe. Other than that, I will be back on Monday as usual, which is now tomorrow because it's so late. This just went all the way into Sunday, you gods. I'll be back tomorrow, Monday. Probably, if things go according to plan, early in the morning, Eastern time, but I don't really know. But with another Seth stream going through The Unknown Reality. We've been analyzing that book. That's been a lot of fun. Maybe I'll try to also do like some live tarot readings that day or another stream of some kind that day. And we'll see if I have time. And then I'll be back on Wednesday as always for live tarot readings and a special stream of some kind. I am pretty damn sure, as long as time permits, which it should. And then I'll be back on Saturday as always for another tarot card analysis stream. We'll be looking at the Five of Wands. No more of the completion and peace and stability of the Four of Wands. It's time for change. It's time for chaos. It's time for competition. We'll get into it. So, go to my other job at the hospital. Yes, I remember you mentioning that job a while back. I hope that it is one that you enjoy. So thanks again. Thanks, Lumen, and thanks to all others out there watching this and who watch this when it's not live. I'll be back soon, probably tomorrow at this point, and hope to see you there. Bye for now.